No Deuce and Mo today. It will be myself and Scott Marsh, Kyle Ledbetter on the board. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing great, but I want to know why everybody else in the world, especially at Sactown Sports 1140, is on vacation except for us.
Oh, well, here's the thing. It's a first come, first serve type thing I've learned around here.
And we get fifth helpings? Is that how that works?
No, dude, we get
Are we the lowest rung on the ladder?
No. We got the scraps that they give the dog after dinner. That's where we're at. But if you're looking at a series between the Clippers and Suns in the Western Conference Finals, and I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves here.
But that's what we're supposed to do.
That is what we're supposed to do. But it really comes down to if both of those teams are healthy, man, that is a 7-game series. And again, the Suns have the superstar names, but I don't know who I pick in that series at this point.
It's a great series, to your point. The Clippers have certainly enough to get out of the West. Phoenix is the favorite. Now, they've got to show us, obviously, but I think that's going to work well. With Chris Paul running the show, everything's going to go great there. Still, the best player is Jokic of all those teams. So could he carry them past? Maybe with Jamal Murray finally getting healthy and the way Aaron Gordon's playing?
Yeah.
You can't discount the Nuggets. But to your point, I agree with you. I think the Clippers and the Suns, that's your Western Conference final right now.
And then weirdly, you have the Sacramento Kings sitting in the third seed. They are now that we are heading into the All-Star break. Let's look at the West in general. You have the Nuggets in first, who are 5 games up on the number 2 seed Grizzlies. Kings are in third. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. The Clippers, just a game back. Phoenix, 1.5 games back. The Mavericks, 1.5 games back as well. Excuse me, Phoenix is half a game back.
Yeah, but everything's got to be based on the loss column, right?
Exactly. And when you look at the loss column, the Kings are 3 games up on the loss column with both the Clippers and the Suns, 4 games up on the Mavericks and the Pelicans. It gives you hope, though, if you are a Kings fan looking forward, that if you can just handle your business from here on out, and the Kings have 25 games left, and we're going to do a deeper dive in that a little bit later on. But if this team plays, 3 games above 500 for the rest of the way, they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Not a play-in team. They're going to be a playoff team. And it really comes down to the Kings just controlling their own destiny at this point.
The Kings definitely control their own destiny. But even if you go down further, if you go all the way to 13 with the Lakers, the difference between Sacramento and LA is 6 games.
Right.
I mean, so again, we're not talking about much right now between totally being outside a play-in situation and still being a solid first-round home playoff team.
Yeah, and that's obviously what you're shooting for is, again, if you can get those top 4 seeds. And that's where the Kings are going to really have the momentum, although home record not as great as you would like it to normally be.
But the road record's been so good.
The road record's been so good, but that arena come playoff time,
off the hook.
It's just
off the hook now.
Yeah, no, and it's just a different type of home court advantage.
Yeah.
I asked Dave this the other day, and I want to get your thoughts because I know you're going to remember this well.
Yes.
Will Golden One Center, the first playoff game, be as loud or louder as 1996 Game 3 against Seattle?
I think for people who weren't at the game in 96, the answer is yes. For anybody who goes back that far like myself, the answer will be no, because that's the gold standard.
Sure.
And no matter what happens at Golden One Center, I think people who were at that Game 3, Seattle, when they came back home, tied 1 apiece, and they had that 45-minute standing ovation before the game even started, before the teams even came up for warmups, that will never be passed. That was bigger than anything in the glory days of the Kings. As good as that run was, there was never a noise in the Sacramento Kings era like that warm-up to Game 3. So I would say no, but for somebody of the new generation, it might be the equivalent, that first home playoff game.
And I'll say it's an equivalent. Here's why it might have a chance, and it's might, again, because to your point,
it's all perspective.
It is
what
perspective,
I'm trying to say. It's like saying, would Barry Bonds be a greater player than Willie Mays? Well, if you grew up in the Willie Mays era, you're going to say Willie Mays. If you're in the era of Barry Bonds, and you're a Giants fan, of course, which you and I are not.
We are not, and we're not going to go down a Dodger road today because everyone will hate
somebody
us.
in that next generation,
of course.
And that's how I would equate that. They're 2 separate arenas.
They are, but it's going to be, I'll say this, same vibe. Because
without a doubt.
Remember when that happened? It had been 10 years since the Kings have been in the playoffs.
Yes.
It's been 16.
Yes.
There are kids getting their driver's license during spring break this year that have never seen the Kings in the playoffs. It is going to be an atmosphere like no other. Again, I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but hey, man, we're excited. It's All-Star Weekend. We got a lot of that to talk to again. Kings head coach UC Davis head coach and former King Jim Les. I'm getting ahead of myself. Coming up with us.
You'd be breaking some news, that's for sure.
I would be breaking some news, and well, if I'm going to break news, I want it to at least be news that Jim Les has heard before he hears it from me. You know what I mean? All right. Again, me and Scott Marsh sitting until 2 today. Coming up next, the Kings. We're going to talk about them and what they might need to be looking at. Sam Amick was on with Carmichael Dave and myself yesterday. So the Kings have a bulletin board of guys in the buyout market potentially. We'll go over some names we think they should be looking at next right here on Sactown Sports.
The Kings have headed to the All-Star break as the 3 seed in the West.
Nobody expected them to go this far.
Catch the Kings at All-Star Weekend with Keegan Murray in the Rising Stars game.
The rookie drives inside, then he scores.
Kevin Herter in the three-point contest.
Out to Herter. Scores, in other words.
And DeMontis Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox in the All-Star game.
Fox drives, gives the Sabonis hammer time.
Look for exclusive coverage all weekend on Sactown Sports social media platforms.
These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Yeah. Add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidate worth interviewing. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn. Wow. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/herd, linkedin.com/herd to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Back on Sactown Sports. No Deuce and Mo today. You have JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh filling in for you. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. Looking at All-Star Weekend. Make sure to check out Keegan Murray tonight in the Rising Stars competition. Phone lines open for you, 1-800-920-1140. Text line open as well, 916-339-1140. So yesterday with myself and Carmichael Day, we had Sam Amick on, who does his weekly appearance every Thursday at 8 a.m. And obviously, with the Kings not going after anybody at the I shouldn't say they didn't go after anybody at the deadline, but the Kings not acquiring any talent at the deadline. Obviously, all eyes have turned to the buyout market as a way to possibly improve this bench, improve upon the depth of this team. And curiously enough, Sam said they do have their bulletin board of players that they are looking at. Now, he didn't have any specific names, so we're going to come up with some that we think they should be looking at.
He didn't have
as
a
well.
picture of the bulletin board.
No, he did not.
Social media. Okay.
No. Remember, we were able to
Inside
get
the war room.
Do you remember getting Vladdy's whitebboard? Is
Yes,
that what you're
that's what I'm
referencing?
talking
Okay, I just
about,
want to make sure we're on the
exactly.
same page there. Vladdy's whiteboard of draft picks was once upon a time a wonderful thing that floated around social media.
Yeah.
But, I'm looking at this team, Scott, and here's the three things I had hoped they had addressed and at least got one or two of them at the trade deadline.
Yes.
Another playmaker,
Okay.
wing depth.
Yep.
And another big man to spell DeMontis because I think right now DeMontis is playing a lot of minutes.
So you don't consider Kessler Edwards the wing depth?
I'll say this. I do not. However, I thought he made the most of his minutes the other night in Phoenix guarding Devin Booker.
Okay.
And maybe that's a guy you can develop down the line, but I don't know. I don't know if putting him in 25
Not for this season.
Not for this season
Fair
at
enough.
all.
Okay.
But, again, the Kings did not make any moves.
In what order? I'm curious to know what you thought the order was of those three.
So for me, the order was big man.
I agree.
Because
number one, without a doubt.
I think that's it. The secondly was a ball handler, and third was the wing depth.
Okay.
But you could flip 2 and 3 for me.
Yeah.
And the reason being is Davion Mitchell's really struggled at the offensive end this year.
He has.
And even prior to his offensive struggles, Davion's not really much of a playmaker. Davion's more of a scoring point guard, if we're going to find a term to use right there. But when you look at the buyout market, so to speak, and point guards available, there's no real playmaking point guard out there. I hear the Patrick Beverly talk, and I just don't know if you want to infuse that into your locker room this late in the season.
Think so. It's a wild card for sure, and the chemistry is so good on this team. And Beverly's not a guy who's going to handle the ball a lot, anyways.
No.
In the case of Davion, I don't know if anybody else has made this point or not, but I think because Davion hasn't been as good as he was last year. Not defensively, he's been fine. It also, we got to keep in mind, he played a lot of games at the end of the year last year with De'Aaron Fox. He got a chance to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Mike Brown's offensive system is totally different now, too. This is a free flow Warriors type system. And to your point, Davion's not a guy who's going to come off and catch and shoot, right?
No.
He's a guy who needs to penetrate. He makes great moves inside the lane, all that type of stuff, but they don't really necessarily want that from Davion.
They don't, and that's kind of what his game is. And that, funny you mentioned that in the offense because I think Rashawn Holmes is kind of suffering from the same problem right now. We've been talking about a guy who, was very productive when healthy, running that pick and roll last year, especially early in the season with Tyrese Halliburton, got a lot of easy looks at the basket. But that free-flowing offense doesn't really cater to that. No. And Jay Triano was on with Cattles and Romney, I believe it was last week, and he had made that point. I want to say, was it the Lakers game that I want to say Rashawn had something like 16 and 11. He had a really good game filling in for Domas. But Jay Triano had mentioned how they had basically changed the entire offense for that game to run a lot more pick and roll so that they could get Rashawn more involved. And it just goes to show is I don't think either of those guys are fitting in. Now, I think Davion has a much better chance as he develops, later in this year. He's a young guy.
And he's still valuable.
But I think, very valuable what he brings on the defensive side of the ball. But then when you look at the big man situation, I don't think you can completely change your offense when Rashawn comes into the game on a game-by-game basis. So I thought big man was definitely the need there and finding someone. And that's why watching Plumlee last night especially, I remember he got the ball out on the perimeter, drove in, and was able to kick the ball out to the wing. I'm like, Rashawn can't do that. Chimezie can't do that. And I don't know if there's a big on the market that can.
I don't think there is that golden goose either right now based on who's left. Obviously, the best of all those combinations to me is when Trey Lyles comes in.
I agree.
He's your backup
Or
right
your
now.
small ball 5.
But to your point, if they just had one guy who was a big guy, could even come in 10 minutes a game and just rebound and force, do some of those things that you need when you're getting clobbered on the glass, that's the type of guy they need.
Right. And is Alex Len, I don't think he can be that guy again just because of the offensive limitations.
To the point, it'd be interesting just to see if he was actually used. We haven't seen that this year, right? And obviously they're seeing a lot more than we are. So I'll take the coaching staff's, obviously what they're seeing, because if they were seeing that, they probably be playing him a little bit more, right?
No, well, you would think so.
Yeah, sure. But they just need somebody when they're getting killed on the glass, they can bring in to counteract that a little bit.
Do you think Nerlens Noel is that guy? That's the name. He hasn't been bought out yet, by the way, but all the speculation is that the Pistons will buy him out.
Yep.
The Kings have been linked to him earlier in the season. Good rim protector, can grab some boards. Not going to give you much on the offensive side, though.
You've got a roster spot, right?
Yeah.
So to my mind, he would be somebody who I could add to that roster and just see, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were hoping Keita would be that, right? And Keita's just not ready yet.
Yeah, and also
He
congratulations,
may be at some
Keita,
point.
playing in the
Yeah,
the G
he'll be
League
there in
All-Star
Salt
game.
Lake City.
Yeah.
It's not at the main All-Star arena.
No, but hey, guess what?
No, I'm not putting it down at
Right,
all,
I
but
get
it's
you.
just cool that he's there, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
But, and Nemi maybe next year is again,
Yeah.
and that's one of the advantages of having the Stockton is to develop him.
And that was the thought when they gave him a few games, right?
Mhm.
Let's see what he can do. And he just isn't
He's
ready.
not ready.
Yeah,
And that's
he's not
okay.
ready. Yeah, absolutely okay. But to your point, is Nerlens Noel the answer? I don't think so.
I'm in the same boat. I don't
Plumlee
love it.
certainly could have been, but again, we're not inside the room. We're not on the bulletin board. We don't know what would have had
Monty's
to go
not
back the
texting
other
me and
way. So it's always so hypothetical. Would we love to have had him? Yeah. The person I wanted, honestly, was Jakob Poeltl. Like if I could have had a wish list, that's the guy I hope the Kings would have gone for. And I was shocked when he went to the Raptors.
Right. And honestly, went to the Raptors. I didn't think for that much.
Yeah.
I thought they pulled him in that first game that he had back in Toronto. He was a monster.
He's
for
a
them.
great player. Like to me, Poeltl's
Yes.
a step ahead of Plumlee.
Oh,
Like his
yeah.
name wasn't mentioned a lot. That's the guy who would have been top on my bulletin board, which I did post on social
Boy,
media,
if you
by
could have
the way.
got Jakob Poeltl, man,
Yeah.
we'd be talking about this team in a whole different light. But
Yeah.
hey, man, trade deadline gone. So we haven't really seen a point guard we like. We haven't really seen a big we like. There's a player I do like that just got recently bought out from San Antonio to give you some wing depth, and that's Stanley Johnson. A 3-and-D guy, although please take that with a grain of salt. He's not a 40% three-point shooter and lockdown defender, but he's a decent wing. He played pretty good for the Spurs this year. He's a decent player. Yeah. He's a decent player. I think that's the guy that you can bring in that can give you some depth at the wing for 15 minutes a game and play some defense, hit a 3 here and there.
I tell you, I saw him play in the state championship game here back when Arco was Arco. And I honestly thought he was the next Michael Jordan.
Really?
Coming out. He was that impressive.
He was a lottery pick.
At modern day. Incredible player. By the way, happy birthday, MJ.
Yes.
60.
We'll get to MJ's 60th
I don't want to
later
steal
on.
your thunder down the format here. You've
Big
kind of put
6-0.
together. But that's how good I thought his potential was. And obviously it just hasn't turned out that he's been a decent NBA player for sure.
Man.
But in my opinion, I don't really think the Kings need more wing depth. Like, if they could have gotten Thibault somehow in a defensive-minded one, okay, I think that works. But I think they're solid enough in that position to carry through. And I don't think at the point they're necessarily lacking because you're going to have Fox out there for 40 minutes when you really need him to.
Well, and Monk can run the point if Davion's not giving you what you need there. And obviously you have Dellavedova with a break class in case of emergency situation.
My biggest concern is inside rebounding in playoff series.
Yeah.
And foul trouble with Sabonis.
All of you, and I got a few tweets about this earlier in the year, like, DeMarcus Cousins would be great. DeMarcus isn't coming back. That's just not going to be a thing, guys.
No.
So get off of that. Here's what I tell people.
DeMarcus was never a defensive stopper anyways.
He can run the offense a little bit out of the high post, but again, I think there's more issues there than meets the eye. And I just say this.
And offense isn't the problem.
No. Offense is actually the least of the problems of this team. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back, Kevin Herter joined Carmichael Dave and Katie Christensen. We'll replay some of that audio and more right here on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Welcome to your Friday. Out the door to a cool start, so grab those layers. Heading through the afternoon, we'll enjoy mainly sunny skies. Temperatures a bit warmer today with highs in the low 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When it's cold and rainy outside, everyone knows Bonnie is leading the way home. Right now, stay warm and cozy with a $79 furnace tune-up. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Schedule an appointment today. Bonnie.com.
It's go time. The President's Day Sell-a-thon is on at your California Ford dealer. With a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery, it's go time. Now during the President's Day Sell-a-thon, only get 1,000 trade assists cash on our lineup of Ford SUVs. Your choice. Ford Escape, Bronco Sport, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition SUV. We have the inventory, we have the deals, but they're not going to last. Get low APR and amazing deals across the Ford lineup. Take delivery now. Hurry in and go get a new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. It's go time. It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at your California Ford dealers. Don't wait. It all ends February 20th. It's go time. Open trade assist cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. Residency restrictions apply. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by February 20th, 2023. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
At the UPS Store, we know this upcoming holiday is when things can get busy for small business owners.
Exactly. My to-do list and I don't take days off.
That's why you can count on us to be open and ready to help with every small business need, whether it's packing and shipping or if it's just to check your mailbox.
That's almost everything on my to-do list. My list and I can take the day off.
Your local, the everything to help you be unstoppable store, the UPS Store. Be unstoppable. The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hi guys, it's Mark with Coastside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our WAVE technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your life back. Call Coastside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
You don't have to look far. more to be inspired at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. We take customer service to the next level. From our no-pressure sales and service to our great selection and financing options. Whether you're shopping online or in person, you'll see why our team is the #1 Honda dealer in Northern California.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com. #1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Zone 1 report.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings have a huge weekend ahead of them at the NBA's All-Star in Salt Lake City, Utah. Starting tonight at 6 p.m., Keegan Murray will be playing in the Rising Stars competition. He'll be playing for Team Pau Gasol alongside fellow draft class members Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Benedict Mathurin. Tomorrow night at 5:30, Kevin Huerter will be taking part in the three-point shooting contest at All-Star Saturday night. Then on Sunday, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox will be partaking in the NBA's All-Star Game. De'Aaron and Domas are the first pair of teammates for the Kings in the All-Star Game since 2004. All 3 nights of All-Star events are available on TNT. Check your local listings and streaming services for more information. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. My name is Kyle Ledbetter. Now let's roll along with JayMarZZ and Scott Marsh.
Thank you, Kyle. Quite the introduction. Look at
that
you
was
doing
something else.
Yeah.
No burp that
No
time
burp.
either. That was very well done, Kyle.
Thank you for not burping. Thanks for being a professional.
Yes.
During your episode.
It felt like the smell was coming through the wall. I know we have like the soundproof walls, but they're not smell proof.
We went back and reviewed the tape. It was not a burp. I apparently bumped the microphone as I was saying De'Aaron Fox and Domas Sabonis.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Right. And that's what came out
That sounds like
over the air.
How old are you?
I am born in a year that starts with a 2.
Okay, and you're still using tape? Because like
Yeah.
even I've moved on from that, and I'm a dinosaur myself.
Look.
Wow.
Like I said, and first of all, I am an actual stand-up comedian, and I would be the first one to volunteer if I had made such a mistake.
I want to get back in this stand-up comedian bit real quick. Like, that's
You're
very...
not a sit-down one, I'll say that.
I am technically a sit-down one. I like sitting down on the stool.
Okay, where have you performed at besides this microphone today?
In Sacramento?
Yes.
In Sacramento, I mean, you can find me at all the various open mics and such
Really?
at Sac Comedy Spot down on the Y, which is a tiny little place by where I live.
We've got to go to that.
Old Town Sacramento.
This is a new thing. I was not aware that there's a Kyle Ledbetter Sacramento Comedy World Tour going on.
Well, hold on.
Where's the t-shirts?
Please.
Well, I'm
I'll
not
be a groupie in the stands. It's fine.
I need that emotional support. Thank you. Yes.
Does that include heckling?
Yes, I love heckling. I'm good at crowd work. Apparently, it's kind of like live radio, like right now. So yeah, I like doing comedy stuff. Rami is also out there now and again, so you can.
Rami shine, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but Rami's funny, Kyle.
That is fair. I can't argue with that one. That's why I always say I'm moderately funny.
You are funny.
Set the bar at moderately
that was a low
funny.
blow, and I apologize.
It was above the belt. I haven't laughed yet today, so that's your goal. If you get me to laugh before 2, you win.
Well,
burping.
I could burp. That would do it.
By the way, I
for
believe
you.
that was reviewed in a Secaucus, which is always
the 2-minute report is coming out on that.
Yeah, we'll get to the 2-minute report. Oh, thank you for joining us again. We're just having some fun today. JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh, Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass. Earlier today, Kevin Huerter joined Carmichael Dave and Katie Christian for the the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. And he had some thoughts that, a lot of us weren't that confident in the Kings early on in the season, but he always was.
I've always thought this team was deep in training camp. There truly was a battle at every position, maybe not the center position or the point guard position, but every other position, there's guys that are multiple people deep, and you see we have injuries, guys go out, and there's somebody behind them ready to step up. And so I've always been confident with what we have. Obviously our front office has a lot of confidence in this group. And
yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about that and the confidence. So, what did you have the Kings pegged at to start the year?
Not third.
Obviously. Win-loss, what were you thinking?
I thought they'd be in the neighborhood of about 35.
Okay, I had about 35 to 38.
Yeah, okay.
But we're clearly on pace to beat that. And I got to ask, what was your reasoning because I'm like you. I was pessimistic about this team. Were you pessimistic about this team because of what you saw on paper, or is it just like 16 years of like, man, we
I just think
figure it out?
I've been a beaten up Kings fan, right? I just couldn't allow myself to have optimism one more year when I should have, because honestly, to Kevin's point, when you looked at what Monty McNair did in the offseason and knowing that last year Sabonis didn't finish the year, Fox didn't finish the year, but they looked great when the two of them were together. You brought in Monk along with Herter. I mean, this was a better roster than what I was giving it credit for.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. I really like the Herter pickup. I was like, man, they got him for just Justin Holiday, Harkless, and a protected pick.
I just remember him killing us when he was here in Atlanta. And I mean, just that's one game. Obviously, he went to the Eastern Conference Finals in Atlanta. But
the part about it that was getting me, and it just felt too good to be true almost, because I'm like, what we gave up for him, I'm like,
nothing.
It feels like Atlanta literally just gave him away to make space because they didn't want to pay the luxury tax. And quite frankly, I think that's what they did.
No doubt.
And you could find some other guys on that roster, if I'm being honest, that I think they would have probably rather given up on John Collins over Kevin Herter at this point. But so I underestimated that. I also underestimated the energy and the scoring that Malik Monk was going to bring off the bench. He had the good year in LA last year, but I'm like, okay, I thought it might be a little fool's gold because let's just face it, the Lakers had kind of packed it in halfway through the season. And we've seen this before, especially with the Kings, guys that get a lot of minutes towards the end of the season on bummy teams, that stat pad. I always go back to, I think the first time I really got swindled in that was either the end of the 08 or the 09 season. Do you remember when Ike Diagu came here?
I do. Yes.
And those last 15 games, he was just putting up these monster numbers.
Yeah.
You're hearing rumors out of practice that he's abusing Jason Thompson in the post. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the Kings got a diamond in the rough with Ike Diagu. Well, turns out
that way.
Turns out not that way. And I thought Malik Monk might be that because first 4 years in Charlotte were nothing to write home about, but he's been fantastic this year.
He's been awesome. And obviously he's got a lot more game than we knew about because he's not just a 3-point shooter. He was great in LA. I couldn't believe the Lakers waived him. That was right. I was shocked that he didn't re-sign with the Lakers. And I thought it was a great sign for us. And I just thought the Fox Monk factor would be huge. And it turns out, I mean, they're on the floor somewhat together, but Malik Monk's been great by himself. He hasn't needed De'Aaron Fox to be great in Sacramento.
Although they've had some fun highlight reels where they're on the floor together. And, they've definitely recreated some of that Kentucky magic. And then the third thing I would say that really, to me, I was like, okay, if this team's going to have any chance of competing this year, we have to get the absolute best out of Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. Like that twosome has to work in concert and has to be in sync. And, we saw highlights of it last year, but, we only got a small dose of it because Domas got hurt. The trade happened. There wasn't that many games left. And it was this big question mark. But, man, Monty McNair knew what the hell he was doing.
No doubt.
There's a lot of people that have had to, moonwalk back some of their takes of that trade when it happened. Not in the Sacramento market. I think we did a pretty good job handling that. But on the national side.
Well, I think there were a lot of disappointed people here letting go of Tyrese. Obviously, and there still are some, but there's a lot fewer, right? You're not hearing a lot of people saying we should not have traded for Domantas.
No, you don't hear. If you're still under that impression, you just have to look at what this team has been able to do. And let's face it, Tyrese recently said this in an interview with Adrian Wojnarowski, like me and Fox just weren't going to work long-term together. But we didn't know how Fox and Sabonis were going to work together. And on paper, it's like, okay, you have that free-flowing offense. You have Sabonis running out of the high post, finding Fox. And, man, I don't think any of us, Scott, could have anticipated it was going to work to this level.
I agree with that. I think I'm not surprised with what Sabonis is doing. Now, has he taken his game up a notch? I think it has. He's become a better offensive player here than he was in Indiana. I think it's because of the offense and what's around him, of course. But I mean, the difference is De'Aaron Fox.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's not overlook that. When the Kings basically went all in on Fox, right? When they traded Tyrese, and they moved other players too. I mean, they could have gone after other guards, right? They probably didn't draft Luka because they had De'Aaron, in part.
They've come out and kind of said that, right?
Well, I mean, I would say that too now if I were the Kings.
For sure.
Then, of course. But it's paid off because Fox has now proven that he's maybe the best clutch player in the game. I mean, he has taken his game to an entirely different level. This is the De'Aaron Fox that we hoped he would become when he was drafted, and maybe even better than what we could have hoped for when he was drafted.
Absolutely. And I do believe, though, that having Domas there and having that fit has just unlocked every part of De'Aaron's game. But also there's other factors. I think De'Aaron's grown up.
Absolutely.
I think De'Aaron's matured. And I think, 5 years in the league, you start to learn things. You see him now where he's not reckless going to the basket. He knows when to stop and pull up, when to stop and get the floater game going.
I agree with all of that. And I also think he's in De'Aaron Fox shape.
Yes.
Because when he bulked up that year, it didn't work for him, right? He's in fantastic shape, and he's in De'Aaron Fox shape, right?
No,
to work his game.
He absolutely is, and I think the best is still to come with De'Aaron. All right, speaking of the best, coming up next, it is a very special happy birthday to, some would say, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, turning the big 6-0. Michael changed the game in a lot of ways, but one particular way that Michael changed the game that I don't think people talk enough about. I'll tell you about it next right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports has your exclusive coverage of the 2023 All-Star Game.
To me, Foxy and Domas are clear-cut All-Stars.
Fox knocks the ball away, grabbed by Sabonis, leads it out to De'Aaron. Here's his easiest 3 points of the night.
Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli and Kings Weekly host Chris Watkins will be providing exclusive content live from Salt Lake City.
Follow Sactown Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for all things Kings from All-Star Weekend.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. Consider STP Conventional High Mileage to save on motor oil for your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Hey, Sacramento, let's celebrate.
Stop the rip!
Your Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, have been selected as NBA All-Stars, and now it's your chance to see them live for less. The Kings are celebrating their All-Stars by offering a no-fee sale on all remaining games. The no-fee sale is on now, and tickets have been selling out, so don't miss this limited-time offer. Head to kings.com/no-fees to select your seats for an upcoming game.
Hear ya, like the beam.
You love spending all that time in grocery store checkout lines? Yeah, I didn't think so. Get HelloFresh's chef-created recipes delivered right to your door instead. You can skip a trip to the grocery store and spend more time doing the things you love. HelloFresh now has 40 weekly recipes to choose from. 40. More choices than ever before. Say goodbye to your recipe rut and hello to seasonal recipes packed with farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients. Make getting dinner on the table easy and enjoyable. From fit and wholesome to family-friendly, quick and easy. HelloFresh has dishes for your lifestyle and meal preference. Options to please even the pickiest eaters. Listen, it doesn't hurt that HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and restaurant takeout. It's America's #1 meal kit. Sign up today. 65% off. Yeah, plus free shipping. How? With the code HERD65. Go to HelloFresh.com/HERD65. The code is HERD65 at HelloFresh.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The wait is over. Folsom Lake Honda is loaded with new Hondas ready to sell now. Over 35 Civics, over 30 Accords, over 50 trucks and SUVs, Ridgelines, Pilots, CRVs, including hybrids, and low interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. CLR specials, apply for financing, and value your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hands up, watch out for the screen. Okay, take 5.
Hello, Sacramento and everyone out there in Radio Land, because I'm talking to you. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet Store. Sound like I'm in a good mood? You bet I am. It's been a long time to turn things around, so excuse me if I savor the moment a bit. Meanwhile, I want to tell you about another turnaround that's just waiting to happen. It's that awful foot and foot-related pain in your feet, knees, hips, and back, even dreaded plantar fasciitis. Let me guess, you've probably tried drugstore remedies and even seen someone for it. I know I did, but nothing's working. The pain's not about to stop. So you get bum and pretty much resign to live with it. Well, speaking from experience, I can tell you that arch supports from the Good Feet Store can help. Good Feet arch supports for back pain? Absolutely. We think it's time you felt good again. So come to the Good Feet Store and get a free fitting and test walk. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online, goodfeet.com.
Back on Sactown Sports 1140, and no Deuce and Mo today. Everybody kind of taking a little breather for All-Star Weekend. You have myself and Scott Marsh coming up at 2 p.m. today. I'll say this, though, listeners, as much as I love my guys, Cattles and Rami, you're getting a real treat with the OG Whitey Gleason joined by Jerry Reynolds. 4 hours of Jerry Reynolds. How about that, Scott Marsh?
Any amount of time with Jerry Reynolds is always good time. And Whitey and Jerry together, that'll be great stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for them. They do a podcast together,
They're
so
awesome.
You already know there's going to be a lot of fun conversation going on. Hey, interact with the show, please. 916-339-1140 is the text line. 1-800-920-1140 is the phone line. We'll take your phone calls today. Also, the YouTube chat is on fire right now. That's youtube.com.
We need to get to some of that.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Sports 1140 or Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. Like, subscribe, tell us
Maybe
you
we'll
love
even
us.
talk during the break in the chat.
You know, we might get a Kyle, can we make that happen at some point?
Is there a poll
Oh, we
question
can
in
make
there
that
today?
happen. Absolutely.
We got a poll question up there?
I don't have the special access that Nate
Okay.
does, but
Really? Oh, we'll make that.
And speaking of Nate, even Nate's on vacation.
I know.
Nate came in and threw it during the last break. Hey, guys, I'm gone for the weekend. Have a great time,
Yeah.
you poor saps. I'll be at Disneyland with my girlfriend.
Nate's going to hang out with Patrick Mahomes, apparently. He has that hookup. He's
so lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky.
And shout out to you, Kyle, who had a vacation planned.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
went awry.
Oh, yeah. So I had the same idea. I like to think that I'm the noble person here to fill in and hang out with all of you. Yeah, I had a vacation planned, and then apparently my car is leaking coolant. So
I'm sorry to hear that. I want my All-Star break. Where's my All-Star break?
I don't get one. I don't get one.
right.
We get Monday off.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we get the so we can unwind from All-Star Weekend.
Scott's going to be calling UC
Yeah, I was
Davis
going to say,
on
you
Monday.
may have the day
Oh,
off, but we
Scott.
got Davis Hoops Monday.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Yes, and coming up
Great
here
talk, Tim.
in about 14 minutes, the head coach of UC Davis
Yes.
basketball, Jim Less, will be joining us.
And he participated in the three-point contest
Yeah.
as well.
Now,
Some advice for Kevin Herter, maybe.
I was going to ask, do you think the wound is healed on that? Because he was one shot away from missing it, that we can bring
One
that
money
up?
ball away from winning it.
You think
Oh,
the
we're
wound's
bringing
healed?
it up.
Okay, well.
Oh, we're definitely bringing it up.
Something got brought up in our YouTube chat. I thought this was
Yes.
a great question. Again, you can participate in the YouTube chat right now. Kevin Love, as a potential buyout candidate for the Kings. Scott, thoughts?
Love him. And if we could get him, that would be a great signing. The thing of it is, he'll be gone before probably he can get the Sacramento, because the Lakers are going to pick him up. The Suns are going to get him. The Bucks are going to get him. Miami's going to get him. Celtics, I just don't think it's realistic to think that Kevin Love's coming here, but I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, he would definitely get a lot of minutes off the bench, but again, I think he's going to put himself in a position to win another title.
He shoots threes. He's a great character guy.
Veteran
all the
leadership,
above.
won a title. Ain't
Everything
going to
you'd
mess up
want.
the locker room, everything you'd
No.
want. But yeah, I imagine one of those quote unquote big market teams will be snagging him, but dare to dream it would be nice. Hey, you know what? It's just nice to be this time of the year talking about the Kings in the buyout market, because quite frankly, I don't think we've ever done it.
No doubt. And truthfully, I mean, I don't think Kevin Love's looking at and say, I wouldn't go to Sacramento.
No.
It's just a matter of he's weighing all his options, right?
He doesn't love us back.
That's our
And he
stand-up.
calls himself a comedian.
That's our stand-up comedian on the show, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, doing what only he can do.
Puns
All
are
right.
always a winner.
From you to the GOAT, Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Happy 60th birthday today to MJ. I didn't realize that until I popped onto social media this morning and thought to myself, oh my God, Michael Jordan is 60 years
Amazing,
old.
right?
Looks good for 6'0". I'll give him that much.
No doubt.
But here's something I wanted to bring up. And, because we are in the era of where we talk about how many rings does somebody win, whether it is the NFL and Tom Brady winning 7. You don't really hear much about that in baseball, but basketball and football, it's definitely a conversation. Scott,
as it should be.
Yeah, I agree. But I'll ask you this. Do you ever remember when they were talking about the greats growing up, and it really became about how many championships they'd won when it came to individual greatness? Because I don't.
You mean when that started?
Michael Jordan, to me, started that. Like, we didn't really have the championship barometer until Michael Jordan went 6-0 in the NBA Finals. Like, I feel like he is single-handedly responsible for changing the way we look at who is the quote-unquote GOAT, which I think is a stupid conversation to begin with. But they weren't saying, was there ever a conversation like, well, Magic got 5, he's kind of the GOAT, or Kareem has 6, he's the GOAT. I don't think people considered Bill Russell the greatest player of all time because he had 11 and 13.
Right.
Michael changed that.
Okay.
And it's made me wonder now that, post 2010, when we started making these super teams and you started hearing about, well, LeBron needs to get to 6 to match Michael. And I feel like Michael's 6, there was such a great quality to them because of the way they built those Bulls teams.
Well, he was 6-0.
Yeah, he's 6-0.
And he sat out 2 years where he probably would have been 8-0.
But factor that, he never jumped to another team. Like, that team took years to build.
True. They had their losses along the way at every level.
They went through it. Jerry Krause made some shrewd drafting and trades, trading Olden Polynice on draft day for Scottie Pippen. Just brilliant move. In the same draft, you get Horace Grant. You have under-the-radar moves like trading Charles Oakley for Bill Cartwright. It's not like they went out and superstars went and signed there or vice versa. And so I start to wonder, and LeBron's a great example here. He has 4 rings. He has 2 in Miami, 1 in Cleveland, 1 in LA. I ask you this. What is your best memory of the 2 in Miami?
My best memory.
What do you remember most about that?
I just remember thinking, thank God LeBron won a championship because if he had it, he would have been considered like the biggest choke great player of all time. And they lost the first one to Dallas, and they should have lost the one to San Antonio.
And that is kind of the bigger point I'm getting at. Yeah. I feel like we've stopped thinking about the quality of a championship and we just base it now on quantity. And LeBron is the great example because I'm like, of those 4 rings you have, I remember the 2 losses more in Miami than I do the wins. The only reason I remember the Lakers,
they're the ones who counted it down. It's not going to be 1. It's not going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that's fair.
The only quality one that sticks out to me is Cleveland because
thanks
of how
to Draymond Green.
Yes, thanks to Draymond Green, but we can't use that context necessarily.
No, but they don't win it if Draymond's, in my opinion, if he's suspended for Game 5. That switched the entire series. Now LeBron won it in Game 7. I mean,
LeBron and
can't
Kyrie.
take it away from Kyrie. That's right. Too.
And the point I'm getting though is, we're gonna always remember that when we think of LeBron and the titles, right? You're gonna remember the one he won in Cleveland. You're not going to look back at LeBron's career and like, man, remember those 2 finals back-to-backs in Miami? Those were amazing.
No, you're absolutely right about that. You are absolutely right about
that. With MJ, you can look back at all 6 rings, and there's a story to tell with each of them. 91, it's the first one. You go in there and you beat Magic Johnson and Lakers, the passing of the torch.
The unbelievable layup in Game 2.
92, you go head-to-head with Portland, who
all
at
the
that
three-pointers up in Portland. He gives that shrug of, I can't even believe I'm doing this.
93. Phoenix seems unbeatable in the regular season. They go through the Western Conference.
I remember Steve Kerr, but the pass from
Jordan. And, you were up 3-1, I believe. And, Phoenix started to come back. You had that great triple overtime game.
Yeah.
Jordan makes the pass. Game 6. Paxson hits the shot. And you just remember the agony in Phoenix. 96, that first title team back against the Sonics. Man, that Sonics team was amazing. And then 97 and 98, Karl Malone is the MVP of the league, I believe, one of those 2 years. And everybody thought the Jazz
were the offensive foul.
And the offensive foul and the flu game. And everyone thought the Jazz were finally going to be the team to conquer the Bulls, and they just couldn't do it.
True.
You don't have that feeling with LeBron in those titles. You don't have that feeling with KD's too.
I don't know. That block shot in Golden State, I would disagree with you on that.
No, but you're making my point, actually.
The Miami 2,
Miami 2.
Yes, and we're focused specifically on the Miami 2, yes. I agree with you. There is no moment I can even remember any play from that series.
And it goes back to, again, the quality of winning a title is lost when we have these discussions. And let's go to KD. Does anything really stick out from KD in those 2 Warriors wins that you're like, man, what KD was just heroic here? Or KD put these guys on his back.
I'll nominate the game-winning shot in, I think it was Game 3, where he pulls up and shoots over LeBron from 31 feet.
Was that in 17? 17? Okay, that's one. but it doesn't have the same allure as, like you said, LeBron with the chase down block, MJ with the flu game. And it's just, the point I'm making is this is why I put Michael in such a different stratosphere than these guys. It's the way he won the title, not the amount of titles he won. I just don't think we look at it that way.
All right. Well, I think the fair comparison, like Tiger Woods is playing today,
Yes,
right? And
great
remarkable.
comparison.
I think he's still under par. We haven't been following. He's on the front nine now, but birdie to finish yesterday. That was a memorable moment, regardless of whether he makes the cut or not. We will remember that. Tiger Woods had more memorable major wins than anybody. But if we're looking at sheer numbers and we're just talking about majors, it's still Jack Nicklaus.
Right.
So in the overall scheme of things, LeBron James, from a number standpoint, is going to go down as the greatest of all time.
Couldn't agree more.
It's not arguable. I mean, he is going to be number one in points by an unbelievable margin. He's fourth in assists. He might get higher. His numbers in his career will stack out as the greatest career ever. That doesn't mean he was the greatest player
Right.
ever,
And I think that's where people get confused, is sometimes you mix the numbers with what they did. And you go to Tiger. That's such a great comparison because
Michael is Tiger, right?
Michael is. And like, who did what Tiger did?
Nobody.
At that point in his career, I want to go back to that last Masters he won. Nobody expected that. The great Tiger Woods coming in, he hadn't won when was the last major he had won prior to that?
U.S. Open 2008.
Thank you. It had been, 10 plus years then?
I think that's right. Yes, it was, because Torrey Pines was his 14th.
It just shows the greatness of Tiger.
And how he won the U.S. Open in 08 on a broken leg. He had an ACL tear.
This is what, to me, makes Tiger the greatest of all time in golf. It's stuff like this. So I just thought that was a fun conversation. I think as we dive deeper, because as LeBron starts to get towards the end of the career, you're going to start hearing and talking more about these comparisons with KD going to Phoenix, and if they manufacture a title this year, you're going to hear those talks. But we got to take a quick break. We got a special treat coming up. Current UC Davis head coach, former Sacramento King, former All-Star Weekend participant Jim Les joins us next on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports goes 100% live and local.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Tune in to Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Followed by the return of Deuce and Mo.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Followed by Cattles and Rami from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You wanted more local? We're giving you more local on Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader.
It's go time. The President's Day Sell-a-thon is on at your California Ford dealer. With a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery, it's go time. Now during the President's Day Sell-a-thon only, get 1,000 trade assists cash on our lineup of Ford SUVs. Your choice. Ford Escape, Bronco Sport, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition SUV. We have the inventory, we have the deals, but they're not going to last. Get low APR and amazing deals across the Ford lineup. Take delivery now. Hurry in and go get a new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. It's go time. It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at your California Ford dealers. Don't wait. It all ends February 20th. It's go time. Open trade assist cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. Residency restrictions apply. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by February 20th, 2023. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
The Beach Boys. Live in concert. Saturday, March 18th. All new and all incredible. The venue at Thunder Valley. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Buy your tickets now. Visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the Beach Boys live.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance.
Ask your agent for pie or go to trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It was 1879 when the first President's Day was established, and it's been a holiday ever since. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'm guessing when the Keys family opened the first Naturewood Home Furnishing store in 1948, a President's Day sale was not top of the mind. But the family probably celebrated the holiday with a picnic and a big slice of cherry pie. The store name Naturewood was selected to reflect the quality of the wood furniture for sale. And that focus on quality continues today with brands like Flex Steel, Trailway, Stickley, Fusion Designs, Stanton, and many, many more. The Naturewood Home Furnishings President's Day sale is the perfect time for you to find the right accent piece for your living room, a new bed for your bedroom, or to completely refurnish your entire home. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's President's Day sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water reel.
And now a small business setback, set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
The Jeep Wrangler 4xE. It's electrified. So you can boogie woogie woogie up a mountain, over creeks, or boogie woogie woogie through a desert where you get bit by a pit viper. So you boogie woogie woogie back to camp and ask your friends if they'll suck the snake venom out. When they say no, you boogie woogie woogie to the nearest hospital for a dose of anti-venom and boogie woogie woogie your way to a full recovery. The electrified Jeep Wrangler 4xE. Learn more at Jeep.com. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Maida Chevy has exclusive all-in-stock pricing on a huge selection of new 2022 and 23 half-ton Silverados in stock, ready to go. See all the President's Day savings at MaidaChevy.com. Find new roads.
2823.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Your home for the biggest matchups in the NFL. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
With your Sactown Sports headlines, my name is Kyle Ledbetter. The Sacramento Kings have a big week ahead of them at the All-Star Game beginning tonight when Keegan Murray will be playing in the Rising Stars competition. Tomorrow night, we have Kevin Herter in the three-point competition beginning at 5:30. And on Sunday, we have De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis taking part in the All-Star Game. De'Aaron and Domas will be the first pair of Kings teammates to play in the All-Star Game since 2004. In NFL news, former Raiders quarterback Derek Carr will be visiting the New York Jets. Carr was released by the Raiders earlier this week, saving the team $41 million. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Now we return with JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh, and UC Davis basketball coach Jim Less.
That's right. No Deuce and Mo today, getting a very, very well-deserved day off. Those guys do, I believe they have 46 jobs, Scott, between TV, radio, podcasting.
Yes.
I think they run a dog sitting thing as well.
No doubt. And their show is truly, all 4 hours or all 3 hours when they're on, right? Because they never shut up during the YouTube part, too.
That's the part that gets me. I'm like, where do you guys get this energy outside of a lot of caffeine? Currently efforting UC Davis head coach Jim Less. He'll be joining us shortly. If you want to get in on the show, feel free. You can do that on the phone lines, 1-800-920-1140. Text line open for you as well, 916-339-1140. And, of course, you can view our pretty faces right now on YouTube, Sactown Sports 1140 on the YouTube page. We're chatting. We're simulcasting. Kyle is waving at you. Kyle, the comedian that we found out today. Though he's got kind of missed on a few of those jokes, but that's okay.
We're working on it. Sometimes you just got to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Well, ain't nothing sticking so far, kid.
No. Go buy some spaghetti.
Ooh.
See, now Scott Marsh is the comedian today.
Actually, I will be twice at the Comedy Spot this weekend.
Really?
3 and 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Go get your tickets.
Go get them now. You can get those Sactownsports.com.
Exactly.
Probably not.
Derek Carr. Does he
Yes.
end up in a Jets jersey? What happens?
Derek Carr's doing stand-up comedy now?
No. So basically, we got the TV on. Derek Carr, obviously released from the Las Vegas Raiders,
Visiting the Jets.
Is free to go where he wants. And hey, Scott, when you want to leave a really bad organization like the Raiders, why not go to one that is always good, always timely, always competitive, never has any issues in the New York Jets?
That is all true, but ultimately you just want to be a place where you're wanted, right?
Yeah, and I think there's other places other than the Jets who are going to want Derek Carr. Obviously, the Saints were interested in him, and he kind of put the veto on that when it looked like the Raiders and Saints had kind of had some compensation worked out, but Derek, to his credit, was not willing to help the Raiders on that one and kind of wanted to choose his own destination.
And the other part of that is we don't really know if Derek Carr is wanted anyways by the Jets, because by all accounts, they want Aaron Rodgers or they want Lamar Jackson, and then maybe they would settle for Derek Carr.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because, there's actually it's an interesting market for quarterbacks this spring, because you alluded to Aaron Rodgers. We don't know if he's come out of his hole yet. So once that happens, we're going to be knowing more about what he wants to do. He's in his, I don't know if he's gone into the darkness retreat yet. The day he was supposed to, he got on Pat McAfee's show and said, that's fake news. Whoever's reporting that is reporting fake news. They are not in my inner circle, which I would be terrified to be in Aaron Rodgers' inner circle and see what goes on in that text thread, so to speak. But you have Rodgers. We don't know what's happening there. We've alluded to Derek Carr. Lamar Jackson, I think, will get the franchise tag in Baltimore. I just do not see a scenario where they let him go this year. And they were supposed to rework that contract. It hasn't happened. I think they tag him and try one more year.
I think they have to, right? They have no choice.
And then the other, mystery quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought when I saw Derek Carr in the Jets, I was like, okay, that's a good fit. But I also thought Jimmy might be someone that the Jets would be interested in, simply because Robert Saleh, who was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco, is very familiar with Jimmy.
Yes. And that's probably why they're not making the move for Jimmy G right now.
I would imagine that's kind of a thing going on.
Let's talk about Jimmy G. I mean, is he a quarterback who can be good on a team that's not very good?
No, I 100%. I've been beating this drum now for several seasons. Mm-hmm. Everyone points to look at the 49ers record when Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback.
Look at the 49ers.
Look at the 49ers.
Yes.
Are we really saying that Jimmy Garoppolo was responsible?
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl also.
And what did Trent Dilfer have behind him that Jimmy Garoppolo coincidentally had behind him? An amazing defense.
Yes.
Not to mention that Kyle Shanahan has always had a great run game as well. I've told people this before. You put Jimmy Garoppolo, let's throw a team out there, Houston. If Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans this year, folks, I'm trying to tell you they don't win more than 7 games, maybe. I would, if I had to put the over-under on 7.5, I'm still taking the under with Jimmy G as the starting quarterback.
Remember when everybody thought Bill Belichick was crazy for letting go Jimmy G, and it was forced by Tom Brady and all of that?
No, I think Belichick knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to put shine on Jimmy G, because I think what he did to help the team out this year was remarkable, and his attitude of how he handled everything, a model for the league.
Yeah, no, we're
talking about playing ability.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. What does he do on the field? I've always said I think Jimmy is a great guy, a great leader, and it's one of those situations where, listen, it didn't match up, though, with what's on the field versus what he does in the locker room. All right, joining us right now, Scott Marsh. This is a treat for me. It is Christmas in February that you have brought to me, my friend. I have to say thank you. On the phone with us, he is the head coach of the UC Davis Aggies men's basketball program, former Sacramento King, former All-Star Weekend participant, and I've always said this, the reason the first basketball player I fell in love with basketball with, the year was 1991. It was a home game at Arco Arena. This man hit 5 3-pointers against the Utah Jazz, and I was hooked. Everybody wanted to be like Mike back then. I just wanted to be like Jim. Jim Les joining us. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. You're aging me. Don't put on dates anymore and years.
He's aging himself, Coach. Jeez, Justin, my goodness.
Yes, no, I was a small boy at that time, and that game electrified me and really got my love for basketball going. So thank you, Coach.
Well, I appreciate that, and I apologize. I wasn't able to log in to the site, but I have a face for radio anyway. So.
Yeah, no worries, Coach. We appreciate your time. We know you have a busy weekend. It's obviously All-Star weekend for the Kings. We're going to talk about the three-point contest in a little bit, but I do want to talk about your UC Davis Aggies team. Big weekend down at UC Irvine this week against the first-place team in the Big West Conference. I know you guys are getting ready for that game right now.
Yeah, good challenge for us. This is always a really good matchup, and it's evolved into a pretty good rivalry. And they're a good physical team. They're leading or tied for the lead in the Big West right now. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we're excited. We had a close game. I'm watching the film of our game here, and it's a tie ball game with 6 minutes to go, a 1-point game, and they kind of pulled away at the end. We made a little bit of a run and made it close, but so it always is an exciting opportunity. So looking forward to getting down to Orange County later this afternoon after practice.
Yeah, and the rivalry with UC Davis, UC Irvine, one of the best in the Big West Conference. You guys have both shared conference championships, going to the NC2A tournaments over the last several years. So always a good matchup there. Now, Jim, you need to tell us about your star guard, Eli Pepper, who is really one of the best players on the West Coast. He's averaging over 22 points a game, 11th in the nation, the highest scoring player in California right now, and a guy that really deserves a lot of attention and obviously has done a great job for your team this year.
Well, and Scott, because you've seen him, but people would just love, first of all, his approach. This is a blue-collar, hard-working, spends time in the gym, extra time in the weight room, is just an extremely hard worker, loves the game, is a student of the game. And I just believe when your approach is like that, good things are happening. The game will reward you, and the game is not only rewarding him, but it's rewarding the Aggies, because he's a handful to guard. He scores it from 3. He's got mid-range game. He's got floater game. He can get to the basket. He can get to the free throw line. He's a guy that creates not only for himself but for his teammates. And so just it's been a lot of fun for our staff to put him in positions to be successful, and he's rewarding us and making us look a lot smarter than we are.
UC Davis men's basketball head coach Jim Les joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach, you guys sitting 3 games back at UCSB in the Big West right now. The conference is wide open. The Aggies have been great at home this year, struggled a little bit on the road. What kind of adjustments are to get more road wins going forward?
Well, I think for us, we're best when our defense travels. And there have been a couple of road games we forgot to pack it. With the variables on the road and the numbers bear it out, you generally don't shoot it as well. You're not as efficient offensively, and defense gives you a chance on the road to stay in games, to be in games, and we just haven't been as solid defensively as we would like, and we've got to get that cleaned up here going down the stretch, and then heading to Henderson, Nevada for the Big West Tournament, because there's not a lot of separation between the teams. There's a lot of close games in this league, and it just takes one team being hot at the right time and doing it the right way. And for us, it's always been first about our defense, and then defense creates offense for us. And when we do that, we're a tough out and can play with anybody in this league.
Jim, it is All-Star weekend as well. And obviously we do have a Kings player in the 3-point competition. I don't know, did Kevin Herter give you a call for some advice about how to participate in that 3-point competition? Of course, you participated back in 1992, I want to say, during All-Star weekend.
He probably called a past champion, not a past runner-up. So,
hold on, Coach. I think Hodges had his foot on the line for one of those money balls, so that's still to be determined.
Well,
the 2-minute report came out.
Me missing the last money ball and losing by 1 is not that I still recall that, but it's still a little bit of a bone of contention. But it was a somewhat of a surreal experience. Ours was in Orlando that year, and just wanted to get that opportunity to be in that mecca of the NBA, the showcase of that weekend. And, I think Magic Johnson was coming back to play in that All-Star game. So there was just an incredible buzz. So I remember Jody and I, and she was pregnant with Tyra at the time. It was just an exciting time for us to experience that. And, a little bit of trivia is Drazen Petrovic was in that three-point shootout. And he was a guy that, and I didn't really know him, but we bumped into each other at one of the prep meetings, and he just said, "Hey, I want to get some work in. I want to get some practice." So he and I actually took a taxi over to some little rinky-dink gym, not far from the Orlando arena, just to get some shots up and to practice the day before the contest, because we were, you're on edge. You're like, man, if this goes bad with all the eyes that are on it, it could be really bad. So we felt like a little extra prep time helped, and it certainly helped me. I know that.
Did you and Drazen maybe have a little friendly competition during that workout?
Well, it was kind of hard because we were chasing each other's balls, and we were trying to simulate the rack, and we didn't really have a rack, so we were kind of holding the ball for each other. So it was a little bit of a sight to behold. But I do remember, the shoot off the rack is very different. And what I would say to Kevin is, to position those racks, does he want to bring the ball up from his right side or from his left side? And different shooters have those nuances. And I also remember when I was doing it, as I played the music, they played that 3-point music during each of the shooters competition. And it just helped with the rhythm of getting used to the music, and you can kind of rhythm your shot and your fundamentals based on the music. And I thought that was helpful for me, at least to, put the jitters behind and just focus on the task at hand.
So one thing I've always wondered about that, as head coach of the UC Davis Aggies, Jim Les joins us today. Right here, we're filling in for Deuce and Mo, JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh. Coach, who gave you that phone call? Who let you know that you were in the contest, and what was that like? Did you expect that was going to be a thing? Had anybody kind of prepped you like, hey, you might be going to All-Star Weekend?
Well, I don't remember who did, but it always the person who led the league in 3-point shooting the year before got an automatic invite. So having that year before had success from the 3-point line and led the league, then it put you in a position to get the automatic invite. So I kind of knew it was coming, but until it was official, you're never really quite sure. And, I wasn't necessarily a household name, so I could have been easily bypassed and nobody would have really known. But certainly glad they didn't bypass me. And it's one of those memories that I look back on very fondly.
Oh, yeah, you're much too humble. You won the 1991 shooting 3-point percentage title. Jim, you played for the Kings for a few years. You started your career in Utah underneath John Stockton, who you're very close to as well. Also played some time in Atlanta in the Clippers. But I know you're a Chicago Bulls fan, first and foremost, and today is Michael Jordan's 60th birthday. Just want you to weigh in. Is Michael the GOAT? Is he the greatest of all time?
Well, I'm biased, being a Chicago guy and growing up in that era, and then fortunately having the opportunity to play against him. And, he was just extraordinary to me, and not only with his skill set and his athleticism, but the mentality that he had. And he's one of those old school guys. And, the Last Dance put it in perspective of not only what he meant to the game, but just what made him so great and so special, and his competitive fire. And, I also love the fact that, he wasn't a guy that, changed teams and chased a title. He was a guy that started, and the Bulls weren't very good when they got him, and that's why they got him. And he stayed there and through thick and thin, and put the city and the team on his shoulders to win championships. And if he doesn't play baseball, you can argue he probably has 8. Because they were on such a tear, and he was in the prime of his life. He takes essentially 2 years off. So I'm a MJ is the GOAT. I have a lot of respect for LeBron and what he's done, but I'm a little biased being a Chicagoan.
That's head coach Jim Less of the UC Davis Aggies. Of course, you can catch your Aggies broadcast right here on Sactown Sports with the voice of the UC Davis Aggies, Scott Marsh. Scott, I know you guys got an important game tomorrow, correct?
Big game tomorrow at Irvine. Yep, 1 o'clock, 12:45 start right here. And we'll have it with the Coach Jim Less show. So we'll be talking again soon, Coach.
Coach, this was fun. Thank you for taking some time with us today, and good luck the rest of the season. Oh, and Coach is out. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll take a quick 1-minute break, then we'll come back for just a couple minutes. We'll talk a little bit about what Coach was talking about there with All-Star Weekend. We'll be back in just a few right here on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sactown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader. Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome back, Sactown Sports 1140. JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh filling in for Deuce and Mo today. Our thanks to UC Davis men's head coach Jim Less. If you're just joining us and missed that, we'll replay that coming up at 1 o'clock. Get in on the phone lines. 1-800-920-1140. Text lines 916-339-1140. I was crazy. I did not know back in the day it was an automatic bid to get in the three-point contest. As coach kind of made us aware of.
Makes sense. It should be, right?
Well, I was thinking about that, and I didn't have enough time during the break. I'm like, okay, if that's I wonder who would have been the 8 participants then this season for if we went back to the old school rules. I don't know if Kevin Huerter would have made it in. I don't know if Tyrese Halliburton would have made it in. I don't know why I said his name.
I don't know, but I mean, obviously Buddy's in, so
yeah. Well, yeah, Buddy would have been there.
Sure, and with Steph not participating and all those types of things, but yeah.
No, and then it's just interesting how much we've evolved.
Of course.
Could you imagine today's day and age if Kevin Huerter's looking to get up some 3-point shots before the contest, and Dame's like, "Hey man, let's find a cab and just go find some rinky-dink gym to go put up some shots in."
I wouldn't be too surprised if that happens in today's world, to be quite honest with you. For example, look at what Kevin Huerter was doing to practice. I mean, they had a human chain, a human rack for him in warm-ups in Phoenix, right? They didn't have the money rack down there for that. But I mean, players do that all the time. I will tell you that. Like, they will work out on off hours, and you'd be surprised. NBA teams are still sometimes doing shoot-arounds in high school facilities.
That's
and
amazing.
Like YMCA. I mean, maybe it's not as much today as it was before, but it's not like they can always get into the arena.
No, but I was just thinking during All-Star Weekend now, I'm sure they have to have designated facilities if guys want to go get some work in or something. You see the practices, they're usually in a practice facility or something. It was just that would be a great story.
I wish social media was alive then, for sure.
Yeah, and that's really cool for Coach to of all people to do that with the legendary Drazen Petrovic, man.
No doubt.
Gone too soon into
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's just that to me, that's an awesome story. I'd never heard that story before.
No, and it's great too. And Jim's a class guy and he has a lot of respect throughout the league. When we were on a trip up to Eastern Washington earlier in the year, when we played up there up in Spokane, of course, that's the home of John Stockton. Well, John Stockton came by the team hotel just to say hi to Jim Less and hung out.
Dude,
for a while.
That's so cool.
You talk about basketball royalty. We talk about records that will never be broken, and nobody thinks LeBron, now that he broke Kareem, who nobody thought Kareem's record would be broken, will be broken, and it very well could be. But the one record I say will never be broken is John Stockton's 15,000 plus assist record.
Just because, and I agree with you, because I don't think you're going to have a point guard. And the way today's game is played too, you don't have point guards that are averaging double digits all the time because the ball's spread around a lot differently. But I think the only one that might even be able to
is Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, and I don't think he'll get it.
He's right around 12,000, give or take, and he would have to play another 5 or 6 years minimum.
And do you really think Chris Paul has 5 or 6 years at an elite level left? I don't.
I don't either.
He's already started to show some decline this year.
Sure, but he's the one who has a chance.
Yes, he has a chance. I don't see that.
He would be 44 in 6 years.
Boy, everybody's been talking about age today, and I did not have Chris Paul catching a stray from you. That might have been your best comedy bit so far today. Excellent work,
In
Kyle.
terms of information, would you like to know who the leading three-point shooters are who would qualify?
Not right now. Let's actually do that when we come back from the break because we're up against it. We ran along with Coach Les there, so we're going to take
a chat.
Yeah, and we'll do a little chatting as well. Again, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. When we come back, Kyle will tell us who those qualifiers are and more right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports has your exclusive coverage of the 2023 All-Star Game.
To me, Foxy and Domas are clear-cut All-Stars.
Fox knocks the ball away, grabbed by Sabonis, leads it out to the air, and here's his easiest 3 points of the night.
Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli and content live from Salt Lake City.
Follow Sactown Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for all things Kings from All-Star Weekend.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross.
All right, we
At
are
Dollar Shave
live
Club,
in
you
the
can get a
YouTube
top
chat.
shelf shave at a
Tubers!
regular shelf price.
First time I'm able to do
We've
this
been
with you.
hawking shaving
Thank you,
products
Chris.
for years
Appreciate the
online,
love.
and we're excited to bring you the
Mini
same great
Lamb, I guess
quality and
he
low
has a name.
prices
It's
at a store.
Scott Marsh. Oh, no, you're good.
Okay, now the tubers can hear you.
Okay.
Normally, I put myself in audition.
Oh, you can do that
works,
too.
but I'm good. We're good. Let's chat away.
Yeah. So, what do you guys? Who's excited for All-Star Weekend? You know, I'm looking. Which of the 3 contests the Kings are featured in are you excited for the most? 3-point, Rising Stars, All-Star.
Oh, 3-point contest. That's always been my favorite one anyway.
It has, right?
It's been the best event.
When I was a kid, I was huge into the dunk contest, but as I got older, I feel like the dunk contest kind of jumped the shark a little bit.
The dunk contest back in the days of Dominique, Spud, Jordan,
name brands.
Yes.
When name brands were in the dunk contest, it was great. A rookie Kobe Bryant going out there.
Griffin.
Vince Carter, that 2000 dunk contest is still.
I'll tell you a great story. Vince Carter, 2000. I was there underneath the baseline when he put up that dunk with the hands on the rim.
And it's unfortunate. This is the day before cell phones that had video and picture. But that's also cool that you can take that in, though.
Yes.
Katie wants us to address the idea of the Kings signing Russell Westbrook. Katie, I'm going to burst your bubble. That's not happening.
No, not happening, Katie. Sorry.
And it's not so much that I don't think the Kings necessarily would be into the idea of signing Russell Westbrook. I think maybe that'd be something they consider. I just look at he's going to go to a Miami.
And I disagree with you there. I don't even think if the Kings were the only team, if Russell Westbrook came to Monty McNair and said, I want to sign in Sacramento, I don't think they would sign
Do you think
him.
it's just too big of a personality to bring off the bench?
I
at this
do. I
point?
just don't think he fits in. Again, the point guards need to be shooters on this team,
right?
And Westbrook isn't. And then that dynamic and everything else. And to all accounts for Russell Westbrook, he's a good teammate. So
he's been good off the bench in LA this year.
Yeah,
You have to give him that.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I don't think that's the fit for Sacramento. I don't think that makes them better.
Yeah, I just looked at it, the idea of and I told you this earlier in the show. I was like, man, I'd really love to have another playmaker on this team. And off the bench, he'd be a great playmaker. But to your point, while you get a great playmaker, you also have to understand he's going to shoot the ball off the side of the backboard at least 5 times a game.
Sure.
And that can kind of disrupt what you're doing. But yeah, I don't know. I like I wouldn't be opposed to the idea, but again, I think even before we even talk about
it's
Westbrook,
not on his radar.
He's gonna. You're hearing the Clippers and him are now engaged in talks. You've heard Miami. You've heard Chicago. He's going to a big market.
Yes,
that's gonna happen.
I
So,
agree with that.
Katie, I'm sorry to burst that bubble, but it's just not going to be a thing. She also says Davion is allergic to buckets. He has been this year. I cannot disagree with that, but I know there's a lot of people, and I just think people get caught up in the moment so much. I'm not out on Davion yet. This is his second year.
No, absolutely not. It's too early. The story hasn't been fully written on him, and he's so exceptional on the defensive end.
He really is.
That you can never discount that.
And you also talk about a guy who's coming into his second season, going through a completely different offensive system.
Yep.
And he's going to have all summer now to work through in this offensive system.
Nobody works harder.
I think he's going to come into training camp next year really in a different mindset when it comes to offense, because he is the type of kid who what you hear from everybody is extremely coachable.
Yep.
And he's the type of guy that's going to be in the gym with coaches all summer trying
No
to
doubt.
work through these issues. So
Agreed.
I wouldn't sell my Davion stock yet if I were y'all in the chat. I'm just telling you that now. I got too much hope in him to be. I don't think Davion's ever going to be a superstar, but I do believe he'll be a solid point guard in this league.
I agree with that. And the interesting thing will be is if he doesn't improve next year, then obviously it's coming up on his 4th year. Will they renew and all that type of stuff? But we're a year away from that.
And then Big John, Kevin Love, hope he could see the potential of our offense gives him. Listen, I agree, but I think we're going to be in. Okay, I think we're going to be in the same boat. We'll address that here in a little bit, guys, when we come back in the next break.
With your Sactown Sports headlines, my name is Kyle Ledbetter. The Sacramento Kings have a huge weekend ahead of them at the NBA All-Star in Salt Lake City, Utah. Starting tonight at 6 p.m., Keegan Murray will be playing in the Rising Stars competition. He'll be playing for Team Pau Gasol alongside fellow draft class members Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Benedict Mathurin. Tomorrow night at 5:30, the aforementioned Kevin Huerter will be taking part in the three-point shooting contest as part of All-Star Saturday Night. On Sunday, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox will be the first pair of Kings teammates to partake in the All-Star game since 2004. All 3 nights of All-Star events are on TNT. You can check your local listings for more information. My name is Kyle Ledbetter. Now let us return to JayMarZZ and Scooter filling in for Deuce and Mo.
Ooh, he hit you. Have you given him permission to use the Scooter name yet?
Yeah, I can't hear you, or I can't hear myself either now.
Take yourself out of audition there.
Yeah.
Back in program. Oh. It's one of those buttons, I'm telling you.
It says I'm in. There we go.
I can hear you perfectly fine.
I'm speechless that he thought it was okay to call me Scooter.
Wow. Kyle.
Oh, is this off limits? Is this something I don't know about?
Oh, no, there's a whole process you got to go through there first, buddy.
Oh, okay.
I don't even call him Scooter.
See, I just heard Henry Turner call him that.
Do you think I'm going to tell the high flyer not to call me Scooter?
What if he told Henry, he's like, Henry, don't call me that. What would Scott
do you think I'm not willing to come across the hallway to tell you not to call me Scooter? You better.
You don't need to do it across the hallway. You'll do it right here through the window.
Oh,
but
boy.
What am I going to do to Henry when he calls me Scooter? Am I going to?
You're just going to say, yes, that's correct,
Exactly,
Henry.
of course. No problem.
It's good to know. I will keep that in mind for this point going forward.
Scott, also, we should always point out, catch you and the high flyer during game night. That's before Kings pregame. Every home and away game right here on Sactown Sports.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Yes, we are filling in for Deuce and Mo. 916-339-1140 is your text line. 1-800-920-1140 is the phone line. And of course, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Get in the chat. We're having some fun during the break as well, chatting with you guys, getting some good conversation in there. Shout out to there's another Scooter in the chat. We have Scooter 916 in there. He's been pretty faithful in our chat recently, so thank you. Katie, who's in our chat, she's awesome. She's been coming in as well lately. I've appreciated, she has some fun jokes and takes. She wanted to trade on deadline day. She thought about trading Cattles and Rami to LA for Malika Andrews. Just your thoughts on what that deal would have looked like.
Wow. Nick and Rami aren't listening, right?
No. I mean, Nick's probably on an island. Rami's asleep.
Yeah. They're on vacation like everybody else.
Yes, exactly.
They're on the All-Star break. We're the only ones who didn't get allowed to leave.
Well, we had Dave weirdly. You know what's funny of all people? It's like when everyone's taking a vacation on one day, he's the one guy that's here is kind of hilarious. Yeah. As you know, Dave and his vacations go hand in hand.
That's true. And he's gone all next week.
He is. Yeah. That's kind of the other side of that joke.
Yes.
But thanks for joining us today. A couple programming notes. If you missed our interview with UCD head coach Jim Les, shared some really fun stories from his time at All-Star Weekend. You can catch the replay of that at 1. And then Jason Anderson from the Sacramento Beat joining us at 1:27. He is in Salt Lake.
He is. Oh yeah. He's there covering everything. Got there yesterday and he's with Frankie and Chris and our crew. And Yep.
Scott, I wanted to talk a little bit, actually, before we get into that, Kyle, so Jim Les had told us during his interview that back in the day, the participants for the 3-point contest were determined by percentage from the following year. Now, they don't do that anymore. It's invite. If we went old school rules, who would be in the 3-point contest this year?
So do you want top 8 from this year?
Yes, top 8. It'd be last year. I think he said it was the year before.
Correct. He
got
was
invited to
he
this year.
won the 1991 3-point shooting title.
Correct.
And that's why he got
Okay.
invited to the 92.
Okay.
three-point shooting
Yeah.
contest.
So from last season, the leading 3-point shooters in the NBA would have been Luke Kennard, Desmond Bain,
Okay.
Tyrese Maxey.
Are you just basing this on percentage or overall numbers?
Percentage with a minimum of 70 games.
Okay.
How about minimum number of shots, 3-pointers?
Well, that'll take some more time to figure out.
Well, I mean, who you're reading off are not the guys they would have invited, is to my point.
Fair enough. So the next person on the list would be Seth Curry, not the Steph Curry, the Seth Curry brother. And then it would be Norman Powell. And then we get to a big name player, which is our friend Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, wow. Tyrese 6 last year on a minimum 70 games. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Then 7 and 8.
Then you would have after that, you would have Josh Richardson.
Okay. That's
And
interesting.
then you would have Bryn Forbes.
Yeah. So,
Oh, well,
so
Bryn Forbes ain't in the list. Bryn Forbes has bigger problems right now.
find the list of the 8 players who made the most 3-pointers last year, or I mean, it's got to be minimum number of shots or something like
Yeah,
that.
I'd
right?
have to look that up, but those guys all chuck it. I'll say that. So they're
Sure.
probably
Yeah,
going to
they
be.
probably are.
But yeah, Bryn Forbes not. Bryn Forbes again having some
But
legal
there's no
issues right now.
Buddy Hield on that list. There's no Steph Curry on that list.
I'm not surprised. Buddy didn't shoot great percentage wise
Just-
last
yeah,
year. He
okay.
kind of struggled a little bit
Yeah.
in Sacramento. I mean, it
That's
bumped
true.
up
Yeah.
when he went to Indy. But anyway, so speaking of Buddy, former 3-point champion in Sacramento,
Yes.
what are some of your favorite memories of Kings in the All-Star weekend?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, it's not like we've had a ton of
Right.
Kings,
We have a handful to choose from.
no, but I think when Mitch was
Yeah.
there, Richmond, and won MVP, that was absolutely amazing. So that's like my number one.
That was mine too, because we talked about this a little bit yesterday. And the big thing for me was as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
remember, this is when the All-Star game was on NBC. That was the big
Sure.
time NBA hoops on
Yep.
NBC in the 90s was everything.
Yep.
The Kings never got on NBC.
No.
And to see one of our own hoisting that trophy
Mhm.
on the biggest network at the time, to me as a kid,
Yep.
it was like, we had peaked as Kings fans in that moment.
I'll go back even further. Terry Tyler in the
Oh, yeah.
dunk competition.
86 was Spud, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you real quick. So I went to Terry Tyler's basketball camp when I was in high school. And it was super cool because not only was he a dunk guy, but he brought Dr. J to the camp unannounced.
Wow.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
See, I was going back to, when Coach Jim Les would tell us about things that I don't think would happen.
Yeah.
Could you imagine any guy on the Kings today
Yep.
bringing in the equivalent of Dr. J in this time? We're talking the LeBrons, the KDs
Yeah,
of the world
no
for
doubt.
you younger people listening.
Absolutely.
That would never happen.
No.
What was your reaction when Dr. J just walks in
It
the
was
door?
unbelievable. The jaw could not have dropped any further.
Did you get to meet him, shake his hand or anything?
I did, yes. Now, he called one kid out to play against him. It wasn't me, of course, but that was still spectacular. Other All-Star moments, those are the two that are my favorite. I know, obviously, there's a lot of Kings back in the day who made it too, but I'll give you those two. What are yours?
For me, the one that I love that sticks out is, do you remember the one year, I believe it was called the Hoop It Up competition?
I do remember.
Okay, so you have a team from Atlanta, a team from LA, a team from Houston, and
Yep.
get this. It was considered an international team, but they all had Sacramento ties.
Right.
So
Well, Tisha Pettichera was on that team because they did WNBA.
Correct. So
NBA. I remember
it
that.
was WNBA, one NBA,
Yeah.
a quote unquote legend,
Yep.
and a celebrity. And it was some guy from some NBC sitcom
Yeah.
that I don't think anyone's ever heard of.
Yep.
Do you remember the other three?
I
Besides- you had
remember
Tisha.
Tisha on the team. I couldn't tell you who the Kings representative was.
It was Hito.
Okay.
Do you remember the legend representative?
I don't.
So just to put context on this,
Was it Oscar Robertson? Because that would have been amazing.
it was not. It was not quite the name. So put context on this, right?
Okay.
Houston rolls out, I believe, Kenny Smith, which,
Yeah.
okay. But Magic Johnson's for LA.
Yep.
And then Atlanta rolls out Dominique Wilkins.
Yep.
The Sacramento/international team rolls out Sarunas Marshalonis.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that sticks out to me because it was
Yeah.
just like, Rooney played 1 year here. Now it was one
Yeah.
great year. It was the year they
Yeah.
went to the playoffs against
I do
Seattle.
kind of remember that. Yeah, but Tisha, I remember.
Oh yeah,
and
no.
she was the biggest. Well, Hito was pretty big too. I got to
I
give
think
Hito credit.
Tisha though
was the biggest
biggest
right?
name
Yeah,
of
I would
those
I would
four.
agree with that. Yeah. Serena's Marshallowski, his kid plays at St. Mary's.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Is
Yeah.
Rooney still in the area?
I
so to
don't
speak?
know, but it's just like Peja. His son is a star.
Oh yeah.
Jesuit high school here
Where
locally.
where did he sign? I know
He's
signed
going to Stanford. And
Stanford,
he's the
that's right.
third McDonald's All-American ever to come from the Sacramento area.
Boy, Stanford is taking some of our big guys in the scene. They took Troy Taylor away from Sac State.
Yeah.
They're taking Peja's son. Of course, how could we forget Peja going back-to-back at the three-point contest?
Yes, that was a great moment as well.
That was one of my favorites, but I'll always remember this one too. And if we had to find a negative moment, I'm going to find it. I still to this day say Gerald Wallace got screwed in the slam dunk contest against Jason Richardson.
Yes.
That was crap.
Yes, he did.
That was garbage.
Yep.
Gerald Wallace. And I believe that's the same year as Hoop It Up and Peja winning.
Okay.
And had Gerald Wallace won that, the Kings, I think, would have swept All-Star Saturday.
Wow.
But that, again, bad judging on that dunk contest. So.
Yes. And there's been some bad judging over the years. We know that.
Oh, yeah. No, you get some of those judges that just kind of throw things up for the sake of throwing things up. All right. Hopefully we'll be making some fun memories this weekend with Keegan Murray, of course. He's in the Rising Stars game. That's 6:00 tonight. So for all of you that still use a DVR, set your DVR. And then we will see Kevin Huerter tomorrow in the three-point contest. And in the All-Star game, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. We'll get more into All-Star weekend a little bit later on in the show. But coming up next, Kevin Durant had his introductory press conference in Phoenix. And he says all the pressure is on him. We'll talk about KD and the New Look Suns next right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports goes
Alrighty, we're good on YouTube.
100% live and local.
Are we staying on YouTube?
To 6 p.m.
Tune into Carmichael,
You're
Dave,
off.
and Jason
What we got going
Ross
on
from
in here?
6 a.m. to 11
We're going
a.m.
to
Followed by
address something. Let me scroll through the comments here.
You can scroll through real quick.
Are we still in the chat?
Mike Barnbaum says he will take Malika Andrews and Mark J. Spears over. We're in the chat. We can take them both over Cattles and Rami. That's our buddy Mike Barnbaum.
Who does he want?
He wants Malika Andrews and Mark J. Spears in a trade for Cattles and Rami.
Got it.
Are you sure we can afford them?
No, I mean we got money.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. You would know better than me.
I would. Okay.
Are we on?
We're on.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on.
Okay, good.
But you can't hear me unless he puts the headphones on.
Let's see. Getting on the Nerlens Noel. We kind of addressed this earlier in the show. If you sign Nerlens Noel in the buyout, I'm fine with that. But I just don't. It's another big body, but it kind of presents the same problems offensively that you get when Rashawn Holmes is in the game. Like Nerlens Noel ain't going to run the offense through the high
No,
post.
but I mean, I would be willing to sign somebody like that, right? Just in the hope that maybe he can help you a few times off the bench, right?
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes.
In that role.
Well, I think what you're getting with Noel off the bench there is you're looking for more help on the defensive side of the ball. Because that is the one thing he does is he does protect the rim really well. Not a huge rebounder, but we talked about this at length. Defense with this team. And look, if he can spot Sabonis 15 minutes, right? If we can spot Domas that 10 to 15, you get 10 to 15 good minutes out of him where, again, he's helping the team on the defensive side of the ball. I think Nerlens Noel will be fine. He hasn't been bought out in Detroit though, right?
He is not yet. No,
I don't know.
Nerlens Noel is still in Detroit.
Okay, yeah. So no, they'd have to buy him out in Detroit, which I believe they will do. I mean, that team's going nowhere, and he's been sitting on the bench there, I think, anticipating a buyout for quite some time.
Praying.
Praying for a buyout. Boy, not sure when he signed there what the idea was behind that one, but I think he'll eventually be on the buyout market. The Kings have been rumored about him since the beginning of the year that they've been looking at him. So if he goes on the buyout market, that is one name you might see the Kings attached to. The other one I brought up was if you want to get a little bit of help on the wing, I think Stanley Johnson is a guy that could potentially be interested in signing in Sacramento. I would just caution everyone, the big names, the Kevin Loves, the Russell Westbrooks, don't get your hopes up.
No, they're not coming here.
Nope.
No.
What else we got in the chat? Can you buy a first-round pick? I mean, you could. I just don't think anyone's selling one to you.
Yeah, nobody's going to sell it just for cash.
You could technically sell a
if you're
first-round
under
pick.
the cap and all that stuff.
Sure.
Yes,
How much would you
absolutely
pay
could.
for a first-round pick?
Depends on what the pick is.
I
mean, you got to look at because the first round obviously has a rookie scale attached to it.
It's an automatic slotted.
That's what I mean.
Position.
So if you were to, in theory, purchase whatever let's say the 23rd pick, my guess is you'd have to pay
Maybe a qualifying.
Yeah,
Yep.
you'd have to pay whatever the starting cost is of that, offer is to whoever the pick is. So you can buy a first. No one's selling first round picks in the NBA. Second round picks is a completely different story, as we've seen. Our friend Cash Considerations.
Absolutely. Everybody loves cash considerations.
Everybody loves cash considerations. So yeah, second round picks a lot more likely to be bought.
Could pull it off though. Maybe you get a first round pick for Oklahoma City. Could siphon off some assets right now. They could afford a first round pick or two.
Here's the thing. I think Oklahoma City, and it's going to be interesting because they're kind of getting to a crossroads now where they have all of these picks that they've acquired over the last several years. They're going to have to start, in my eyes, packaging some of those picks and looking into the trade market. It's a team that's going to be under the cap. The free agents aren't signing in Oklahoma City, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I don't know how much longer he's going to wait to be in the playoffs there.
Right,
they're going to have to start making some moves here pretty quickly.
Yes, they are.
And these teams that acquire these picks, like the Pelicans and the Jazz, they're not acquiring them to use all of them. I hate to break it to people. They're acquiring them to
go get another
them.
star player.
Yeah, and the one more so than the Thunder and Pelicans I worry about is Danny Ainge has a treasure chest of picks, unprotected picks.
And a great track record of making great picks.
Yep.
We've got like 20 seconds till I come back from break, so I'll throw one name out here. Trae Young from Oklahoma. He might be on the outs in Atlanta. They could throw a bunch of those draft picks at him and pair him with Shai.
Would Shai like that?
Top dollar for all trades. Visit FolsomLake4.com. That's FolsomLake4.com.
Welcome back. Sactown Sports 1140. JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh sitting in today for Deuce and Mo. Thank you, everybody who's joining us on the YouTube chat. We're having some fun in there, answering some good NBA questions. Of course, you can join us. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Again, the chat is always a wild place, and the West got a lot more wild when the Kevin Durant was traded away from the Brooklyn Nets to the Phoenix Suns. Of course, there was a lot going on there, a lot behind the scenes that I'm sure we still don't know about in Brooklyn, Scott. But at the end of the day, Kyrie and KD out. Kyrie over to Dallas, KD over to Phoenix. Let's listen into some of the audio from Kevin yesterday. Here's him talking about the trade request that really led to the team being blown up.
Yeah, I was upset that we couldn't finish. I thought we would have some good momentum. We were finally building the culture that we always wanted. Every game, we were building our chemistry. But I didn't know what was going on with Kyrie and his situation with the organization. So I didn't really focus on that. I only focused on what we were doing on the court. And it was a blow to our team. It just took away our identity. He was a huge, huge part of what we do. His game, he's a Hall of Fame player, a great, great player that can do everything on the floor, and we relied on that. So without him, we didn't have a clear identity. So that was tough for me to stomach, and I love playing with those guys throughout the year. I felt like we had dudes that were stepping up and doing stuff that they didn't do on their previous team. So I enjoyed everything about it, and it was tough to not finish the season, but, I just tried to move forward as quickly as I can and try to figure something out for myself, but also still focus on trying to rehab and get back. So it all happened so fast, but I'm glad it worked out this way.
Okay. We have heard about, the Kyrie and KD duo now. It was, that was in their 4.5 years in Brooklyn. I find it really hard to believe that Kevin Durant had no idea what was going on with Kyrie and the Nets. Not trying to call the man a liar. I'm just saying the way those two have been in lockstep, the way those two have always been seen as a package deal there, right?
Yeah.
It's if Kyrie's unhappy, then KD's unhappy, that Kyrie's unhappy, and vice versa. And I don't know. I find that whole situation just a little hard to believe.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I don't know if from day to day Kyrie knows
That's
necessarily
true.
what's going on. So I have to put that in context there, right?
Yeah, no, we have to put that in context, and I believe that's fair. But the idea that those two weren't in constant communication, I find that one a little hard to
I don't
believe.
know about that. I mean, and especially that everything went on with the vaccine policy and Kyrie not playing and KD, there's just so much stuff that's happened, right, since the original trade between those two. I don't know if KD's being truly sincere or not. It sounded sincere to me.
Sure.
It sounded authentic. It doesn't mean that it was by any stretch, but Kyrie doesn't come across to me as somebody who you can count on for, coming up with a game plan as this is what we're going to do and following through on it.
Right. And I completely agree with, which kind of leads me to some of the speculation on the KD side. Then it's like, okay, so allegedly you have no contact with Kyrie. You don't know the contract situation there. And this trade request comes out of nowhere. You kind of have to know that's a thing at this point, right?
Sure.
You do. And you realize, and then you look at the Nets, they're put in kind of a messed up position right there.
Of course.
And KD helped with that because it was, you need Kyrie if you want me to come over when he signed there 4 years ago. I just felt like they didn't exactly, and I shouldn't say they, because Kyrie is such a wild card. I felt KD could have at least played the season out with the Nets, see what they were doing, because it was very clear when that trade was first made, they were looking to make moves to keep KD happy.
Sure.
And they wanted to continue there.
I agree. Now, the Nets didn't have to trade him either.
They didn't, but do you really want a disgruntled KD on your team at this point?
I mean, you've got him for the long term, right?
Right.
I mean, because he's disgruntled on February 12th before the trade deadline doesn't mean he's going to be disgruntled on May 12th when they're in the playoffs potentially.
Right. And that was just it, though. And so it makes me wonder, okay, was it basically the Nets just decided, hey, we just want to wash our hands of this whole situation?
Cy just wanted out of all of that. He had enough of that situation. I mean, he gets hearted and that whole situation blows up. The Kyrie thing blew up the entire time. He was just done with it.
Well, and we can't forget the James Harden thing that they only got 17 games and KD spoke on that.
We just didn't get on the court enough. I think when you seen James, Kyrie, and myself, it was amazing basketball for 17 games, though. But you need... In order for you to win a championship and be a great team, you just need more time on the floor. It's another story about why we didn't get on the floor together, but we just didn't get enough time on the floor. Those are Hall of Fame players that I learned a lot from every day, and I'm wishing them the best as well. It just didn't work out.
It was an amazing.
Now, see, KD's a comedian. He's the true comedian.
Kyle, take notes.
That was great.
Yeah.
17 games. Perfect.
Woo! And it's funny because he says, there was more to it than that.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the day that the 30 for 30 on this Nets team comes out, because to me, there is probably so much in the background that none of us know about yet. But it just goes to show, man, and I've seen a lot of speculation upon this now, is, the collective bargaining agreement is going to be coming up here pretty soon.
Yep.
The player empowerment movement. When it happened, I was all about it. I thought ownership and the way they kind of ran the league for a long time, there was the scales were tipped way too much in their favor. And I think we've kind of done an overcorrection with the player empowerment movement and kind of the way guys basically kind of patrol where they go at any given point when you sign a contract with somebody. Do you think, though, watching especially how this is unfolded and these teams being held hostage, I can't imagine that governors of the NBA are really into this whole idea, number one. I think there is a potential that we could be heading towards another lockout because of this. I think ownership's going to kind of want to take back a little bit of their power as we move into these next CBAs.
Possibly, but how do you prevent a player from quitting on you?
I know, that's just
I mean, I don't know how you can legislate that in any CBA.
And that's the interesting thing, is what is the mechanism there? Because quite frankly, I'm with you. I can't come up with one.
No.
How do because the players are not going to give back on free agency. They're going to want to keep it what it is.
Nope.
I think it's worked out well for them.
Free agency's worked out well for the league.
Exactly.
I mean, how big a day is the trade deadline day for the league?
Or when July 1st hits,
Sure.
all of us, we grab this
Fantastic.
phone, we turn on our notifications for Woj. I just wonder if long-term, though, fan bases are going to be happy with it. I mean, as just pure basketball fan, I love it. But I also have to take a step back and, well, as a Kings fan, Scott, we've never been in a position to lose a star player to free agency. We don't know what that feels like, where there's a lot of fan bases out there that have gone through deadlines and free agency, and you've seen that star sign somewhere else, and it has to be devastating.
We could find out at the end of next year. I mean,
True.
Sabonis is up, possibly. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about that, right?
Right.
So, I guess, I don't know how the owners get it back. That's kind of like Pandora's box that's been open. I don't know how you negotiate that back.
I don't either. And, the one tactic they did try that I think has just been a failure for the league, especially for your small markets and your glamour markets, were like the Supermax deals.
Mm-hmm.
I think those have been a disaster. I think it was a disaster when Russell Westbrook signed one. John Wall, I think, is the biggest example of that being a disaster.
Yeah.
And it really hurts these small market teams and these non-glamour market teams to maneuver in free agency, especially when you start working luxury tax in. I've always been of the opinion that I think it would help teams re-sign free agents, especially in smaller markets and stuff, I don't think you should be taxed on guys that you drafted and developed. And, Washington several years ago to me was kind of that classic case. They got into luxury tax hell, re-signing their own guys that they drafted and developed with John Wall, Beal, and Otto Porter.
But the owners have that in for a reason.
I get it.
It's not, that's not a
I understand.
player implemented rule by any means.
No, but owners need to look at it and be like,
they're not going to give that. I mean, they're trying to self-police, right?
Oh, no. And part of the self-policing is, again, if you're developing your own guys, you shouldn't be taxed for your own guys. But, when you have a Lakers
what they're
team
trying to do is create the incentive not to go over the cap to begin with.
Of
right?
course they are.
Yes.
But again, I still think I love the idea of going over the cap to re-sign your own guys. I don't love the idea that, again, I'll use Washington as an example. You go into the luxury tax to re-sign your own guys. Whereas I think a team like a Lakers who don't develop any talent, they trade any draft picks away they have and just bring guys in. And I don't know how the exact thing would work, but that should be luxury taxable, in my opinion. Again, there's a reason why me and you don't run the CBA or the collective bargaining agreement, but it's going to be interesting. I'm just letting people know, watch out for those CBA negotiations coming up because governors cannot be happy with all this stuff going on.
No doubt. But I mean, again, there's lots of things that do favor small teams too, because you get a 4-year contract with another 4 years to match any other contract.
That's the other side of it as well.
So you're talking about potentially 8 years. Player, right?
I mean, and we can give the example now. De'Aaron Fox is in year 6. He has 3 more years left on his deal with no option.
Right.
So yeah, it does. And that's the other part. And I do think you bring up a good point there. These small market teams or these teams that do get these contracts, you have a pretty big window to be competitive.
You do. I mean, 8-9 years with a player, that's a career in a lot of cases, right?
Yep. No, absolutely. Good talk right there. I think the CBA is going to definitely be a fun thing to watch here moving forward. All right, we're 2 hours in the books. Coming up next, Mayor Darryl Steinberg joined Carmichael Dave and Katie Christensen this morning. Could we have an all-star game ever in Sacramento? We'll play back some of that audio next.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. Consider STP Conventional High Mileage to save on motor oil for your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them.
Hello, I'm Frank Cochran with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. A common lesson in swinging a golf club is to not decelerate during your swing as the results may become more unpredictable. U.S. inflation is still swinging lower, but it's decelerated based on July data to 6.4%, which was higher than the 6.2% measure expected. The return of supply chain slowdowns and those costs being passed on to consumers, as well as the increase in the cost of shelter, have caused part of the surprise. Bond fund investments, which had a historically bad year in 2022, have attracted $32 billion in inflows this year, while stock funds have seen a near identical outflow of $31 billion. This may be partly based on the hopes that the Federal Reserve is near their own rate deceleration plan. With current rates at 4.75% and a widely expected target of 5.25%, the recent data may cause Fed Chair Jerome Powell to yell 4, as their own plan may become less predictable and the soft landing we hope for may just end up squarely in a recession. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC, and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE. It's electrified. So you can boogie woogie woogie into the forest. Boogie woogie woogie through the mud. Or boogie woogie woogie to work, where you boogie woogie woogie down the hall to your boss's office to tell him you quit. Shortcut the boogie. Then you boogie woogie woogie to the elevator as he boogie woogie woogies after you, begging, please, take me with you. Boogie. The electrified Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE. Learn more at Jeep.com. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Hi, it's The Herd.
Whether you shower in the morning or at night, chances are you want to hop in right away instead of standing and waiting while your water heats up. My friends at Navien have your solution. Go tankless with a new Navien tankless water heater. You'll instantly get all the hot water you need as long as you need it. Right now, save hundreds on Navien tankless water heaters with local rebates. It's easy. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com. That's tanklessmadesimple.com.
Are you staying warm and comfortable this winter? Take advantage of American Energy's $49 furnace tune-up today. Make sure your furnace is running efficiently and safely with their 30-point tune-up. That'll save you money in the long run and help prevent major repairs and replacements down the road. American Energy, as always, been in Sacramento since 1981. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. Make the uncomfortable comfortable. And you tell me good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
It's go time. The President's Day Sell-a-thon is on at your California Ford dealer. With a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery, it's go time. Now during the President's Day Sell-a-thon only, get 1,000 trade assists cash on our lineup of Ford SUVs. Your choice. Ford Escape, Bronco Sport, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition SUV. We have the inventory, we have the deals, but they're not going to last. Get low APR and amazing deals across the Ford lineup. Take delivery now. Hurry in and go get a new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. It's go time. It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at your California Ford dealers. Don't wait. It all ends February 20th. It's go time. Open trade assist cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. Residency restrictions apply. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by February 20th, 2023. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
The clock is ticking. Get off the bench and head down to Fasteners Tool Outlet, where you'll find the lowest prices on Milwaukee power tools and so much more. Why pay more at a big box store? Get a triple-double at Fasteners Tool Outlet with weekly and monthly offers, including up to 50% off select hand tools, batteries, power tools, and fasteners. Whether you're looking for a Festool sander, a Saw's top table saw, or a Milwaukee Impact driver, Fasteners Tool Outlet has the tools you need to do the job. Make a slam dunk with Fasteners Tool Outlet, 6701 Power .net.
KHTK AM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your local sports leader in the 916.
This
is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings have a fun weekend ahead of them at the NBA All-Star in Salt Lake City, Utah. Tonight at 6 p.m., Keegan Murray will be playing in the Rising Stars competition for Team Pau Gasol, alongside his fellow draft class members Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Benedict Mathurin. Tomorrow night at 5:30, Kevin Herter will be taking part in the three-point shooting contest at All-Star Saturday night. And finally, on Sunday, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis together in the All-Star game. It's the first time Kings will be together in the game since 2004. All of your All-Star coverage will be on TNT. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Now let's return for hour number 3 with JayMarZZ and Scott Marsh.
916-339-1140 is the telephone number and the text line. Of course, you can also reach out 1-800-920-1140. And in the YouTube chat, Sactown Sports 1140, like and subscribe. JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh in for Deuce and Mo today. Having a good day. Time is flying, my friend.
Now, Deuce and Mo do 3 hours, right?
Correct.
So why are we doing 4 hours?
Well, see,
how did we? Not only are we not on vacation with everybody else, but now we're doing 4 hours, not 3.
Well, Scott,
how is that fair?
We share the same boss, you and I. And
first of all, it's great to have our program director Brian here.
Yes,
from Atlanta.
No, I meant a bigger boss than that.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Carmichael Dave.
No.
There you go. That was a good joke, right? He's coming through. That might.
You are warming up here, Kyle.
We're warming up.
On that one.
Comedic timing is everything.
Everything. No, you can talk to him about that. I'll just leave it there. 916-339-1140. It's the phone number. I don't know how to transition out of that one. Okay, so just a couple programming notes coming up today around, I'd say 1:13. You want to go see Jason Aldean We'll have tickets for that.
Excellent.
Yes. 127, Jason Anderson, the Sacramento Bee, will join us as well. He is live from Salt Lake City. We'll get our questions in, our King stuff in for him. But right now, Scott, I want to play a little trivia.
Okay.
There are 4 NBA cities to never host an NBA All-Star game.
Sacramento.
Well, that's one of them. Jeez.
Bury
bury
okay.
the lead.
I know where you're going with this. Okay. The other 3 cities.
I'm not going to answer because I know them.
Okay. Well, Mr.
I didn't
Miller
ask
all over
you.
there. Yeah, exactly. It's not Salt Lake. We know that.
No, this is their second.
Yeah. It's got to be small market teams.
You're on the right track.
Milwaukee.
Nope, Milwaukee's hosted.
Okay. Who doesn't have a new arena these days?
Think new team.
I was going to say also a Western Conference.
Yeah. Okay. OKC.
That's 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Now are we going Eastern Conference?
Nope,
after
all
that?
West.
All
Western Conference.
Well, that significantly makes it.
I'll give you a hint.
easier.
One of them used to play in Canada.
Yes, of course, the Memphis Grizzlies.
And the other one is on the same coast.
And Memphis with the new arena.
Yeah, I just think it's
Interesting.
such a small market, though.
Yep.
And the other one is in the same coast that we are on.
Yep. Okay.
Little north of us.
A little north. Portland's never
There
hosted
you
an
go.
All-Star game.
Portland's
That blows me
never-
away, actually.
Portland
Because
is-
originally I was thinking Portland, but I'm like, how could they have not hosted a game?
Portland
Yeah.
has never hosted an
I'm
All-Star
surprised by
game.
that one.
Yeah, I was too. I was figuring Rip City, big
Mhm.
basketball town. I thought they
Yeah.
would have had one as well. Well, Mayor Daryl Steinberg was on this morning with Carmichael Dave and Katie Christensen, and he had a pitch to the NBA for an All-Star weekend in Sacramento.
Okay.
I hope the NBA recognizes this city and this region for what we know it as. Number one, we are sports crazy. And I say that in a good, in just a great sense of the word. 2, we are with our teams through thick and thin. The spirit is always been there, even during the drought. And 3, we would support economically and otherwise an All-Star weekend.
Well, there you have it. I mean, there's been so many things made about Sacramento not being able to support an All-Star weekend. According to the mayor, we can economically. That kind of took me by a bit surprised.
Well, first of all, I think Mayor Steinberg's done a tremendous job, and of course, deserves so much credit for the Kings still being here. So I would never really try to doubt what he's saying, but I don't think he addressed the issue. The issue is hotel space.
Oh, well, he did address the
good,
issue.
because I didn't hear that in his answer. So let's hear that part.
Let's hear the mayor on the hotels in Sacramento.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure how the NBA actually looks at this, but you make a really good point, because when I talk about adding 700 hotel rooms over the last couple of years, I'm just talking about the city of Sacramento. But you're right. We go out into the suburbs. I mean, the thing about Sacramento, we love our city, and of course, and I'm the mayor of the city, but we are a mega region. The so-called Council of Governments is comprised of 6 counties within the region. And so when you add up all of the hotel rooms, I would bet that we would more than meet the NBA criteria. So that's a good question to ask. And we will ask it.
That is interesting, though, because
But we know the answer to that.
Right.
The NBA wants it within a small radius of the arena.
And if you remember, I believe it was
Right?
several years. I believe so.
Yes, I've heard the NBA say that. It's not about your hotel space over a 20-mile radius. It's
Right.
within walking distance
But
of the arena.
I always thought, though, it was really interesting. Chris Granger, the former president of the Kings, when they had mentioned bringing in the cruise ship style
right.
rooms right there on
Yes,
the river,
like the Olympics.
I don't know what the cost would
Right
be.
there on the river,
I don't know what the dynamics would be. That's why I talk about it on the radio and I'm sort of uninformed, but that's okay.
Do you think? I mean, I'm just asking this question. Do you think NBA All-Stars would want to stay on the Delta? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to spruce that thing up, right? We would
Yeah,
have to talk
not sure
about
about
getting
that.
the All-Star game like 6 years from now,
Okay.
and there being like maybe a redevelopment project along
Okay.
that way, similar to like the you always hear the San Antonio River
And
Walk.
hopefully, and I've been to the River
Mm-hmm.
River Walk a few times, and we can't compare what San Antonio has to
Sure.
what we have. We have, in theory, the capability.
But
of
that's what I
that.
mean. We'd have to redevelop that whole
Sure.
area, and
Yeah.
hopefully, the economics that would come
Yeah.
in with the NBA All-Star
Yeah.
game. I've always been of the opinion, I just don't foresee it happening anytime soon. Now,
No.
we don't know how the city will grow in 10 to 15 years, obviously.
Well, and 10 to 15 years is a longer time.
Exactly.
We're talking I'm thinking next 5 years.
Oh,
or
I
so.
don't think that's a thing.
No.
With the, development going on in the rail yards, hopefully, and maybe some more expansion, so to speak, when it comes to housing and stuff, more influx from other cities. Potentially down the line, sure, but I look at it the same way I kind of looked at Major League Baseball. I just don't think I think we're just missing the boat.
But the difference with Major League Baseball is every team gets the All-Star game.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter what market size or hotel space.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
I meant bringing a Major League Baseball team here. I just feel like we're missing the necessary things within the city that would encompass an NBA All-Star game or support Major League Baseball here.
I will say we're a lot closer to getting an NBA All-Star game than we are a Major League Baseball franchise. So I don't know if I can put that in the same
team.
And we have a brand new arena. I mean, we've got so much there. I mean, I want to see the NBA All-Star game come here as much as anybody else.
Sure.
And maybe the mayor and everybody else can lobby that to the league, because Golden One Center is probably the best arena in the league, and that should be showcased for an All-Star game. So to the point, can we figure this out? Hopefully we can. I mean, just listening to what the NBA has said, it's all about hotel space within a confined area. So there's great hotels in this area, but
of course,
it doesn't matter.
But it's a quantity issue.
Yeah, you're not busing in people down to that's not what the NBA envisions. You could. I mean, Super Bowl teams are staying miles away from the Super Bowl location.
Yeah, also a completely different animal.
It is.
When you're talking about the
totally.
Super Bowl.
It's possible, but it's not set up the way the NBA wants to do it.
No, and again, we're just one of those cities, and again, there's 4 of us, and you look at some of the other smaller cities that have figured it out over the past 2.
Well, in Portland, and maybe I'm wrong about this. I always thought they had way more hotel space than downtown than us. I don't know about Memphis. I'm guessing.
I think Memphis is probably the same issue that we have.
Yeah.
But, you look at some of the other ones, like Cleveland's an interesting one, for instance, that they do have all the, hotel space. Cleveland's not exactly a destination city.
Well, it's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right there next to the arena. I understand what you're saying.
Right,
yes,
but I'm saying a lot of people aren't going. I'm not sure they're filling up the hotel space in Cleveland every week. And I'm sure Joe Kim Noah, if he were in here right now, could tell us all about vacationing in Cleveland or a lack thereof. So, I like hearing Mayor Steinberg say, hey, we could figure something out. But I think me and you are kind of in the same boat, though. If I am a Sacramentan, if I'm a Kings fan, I wouldn't be expecting All-Star Weekend to be heading here anytime
soon. It doesn't
soon.
feel like it's a short-term horizon.
No, it's not, especially, too, if they expand with Seattle and Vegas. I think both of those 2 cities are going to get the All-Star Weekend. They're already going to lap us there. Seattle's already shown that they have the space.
Vegas doesn't have a team. They already hosted an All-Star game.
That's a great point. Vegas hosted one without a team, and boy, when they have a team, and they got the new arena down there too, the T-Mobile Center, which is beautiful. I don't know if you guys have ever been to it.
I have.
T-Mobile is nice. It's no Golden One Center.
It is. I will say that. It's very nice, but Golden One Center is better.
But
way
yeah,
better.
and I'm sure they would love to have that marquee down there, along with the new franchise. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming back, still got a lot to go on the show today. The Kings, 25 games left in the season. We're going to talk about what we expect down the road from the Kings in the final 25 games. Is this finally the year we break the playoff drought? We'll do that next right here on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is Sactown Sports.
He's got the bucket at the buzzer. Harrison Barnes.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Harrison Barnes, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
They say you can't have it all. The incredibly versatile Mercedes-Benz SUV family proves otherwise. Top-of-the-line vehicles, each groundbreaking in their own right. There's the versatile GLC, the optional third-row GLB, the powerhouse GLE, the agile GLA, and the brilliantly cutting-edge Mercedes-Benz GLS. Each SUV boasts the seamless technology you'd expect from a signature Mercedes-Benz vehicle, with the category-leading safety innovations your family deserves. From MBUX voice-activated technology to pre-safe collision response that initiates passenger protection measures in a matter of seconds. Each SUV in this family built to protect what matters most, your family. The exceptional 2023 Mercedes-Benz SUV family. Intelligence not yet seen from SUVs. A family of distinct models, all equally impressive. Test drive one of the 8 impressive models at your local dealer or learn more now at MBUSA.com.
Back at it, taking you up till 2 o'clock. JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh filling in for Deuce and Mo, taking a well-deserved vacation day today. It's a vacation getaway Friday for everyone here at Sactown Sports.
They've been working here, 3-4 weeks?
It's been a very, very long 3 or 4 weeks.
I've been here, 20 plus years?
Listen, Scott is not like happy at everyone's vacation.
Scott has literally been working here since before I was born.
Yes. Scott, do you want to air out your grievances?
No.
Everyone's on vacation.
Everybody else
today?
gets a vacation around this place. Can't you or I get a vacation? How does that work?
I asked that one time and they're like, yeah, no. They're like, we need to stay on the air. I was like, great. And then come on, you make this place money. They can't have their money man out. Dude, we are 365.
I hear you.
12 months out of the year. That's what we signed up for. Or did we?
Enough.
Or did we?
You know what? At the end of the day, we're talking sports. So what are we complaining about?
It's Friday. We're having some fun. We got the All-Star weekend. And it's such a... Normally, this is the time everyone around here takes All-Star weekend off because really there's just not much going on with the Kings to talk about. But, tonight we get Keegan Murray in the Rising Stars game. Kyle, you'd mentioned in your updates, I thought Pau Gasol drafted him a hell of a team. With Keegan, Jaden Ivey, Benedict Mathurin, Paolo Banchero.
That's going to be fun.
I was looking at those 4 squads. I'm like, man, good on Pau Gasol. I think Pau Gasol might be trying to audition for maybe a front office role somewhere.
Exactly. Where's he going to become GM?
Listen.
Lakers.
I was just going to say it. You took the words right out of my mouth. I don't think he could do a much worse job than Rob Pelinka.
Well, let's back up the truck on that. We haven't talked about the Lakers at all.
Okay.
I mean, overall, you got to give Pelinka some credit for what he pulled off here before the deadline. I mean,
I thought he made good moves.
They get Hachimura for nothing was a good move.
That was a good move.
The only question mark was, for me anyways, was Thomas Bryant leaving because I really think that kid has a lot of potential.
It was reported that he had requested a trade, too.
I don't care if he requests a trade. Doesn't mean you have to trade him.
No, I agree with you, but he definitely, that was the report was once Anthony Davis come back, they kind of told him, his playing time was going to be limited. And, GMs do like to appease agents and they will move on from guys just to make sure a relationship stays good.
Despite that, overall, the Lakers do have a better roster now.
I agree.
Are they gonna make the playoffs? I mean, that's still an open question.
Well, I think it's going to be difficult just because of the hole they put themselves in. They're going to have quite the run, and they're
in 13th place still. But 13th place, as we talked about, it's so bunched up. It's not like they have a lot of ground they have to make up.
No, they don't necessarily have a lot of ground to make up. But the other side of that too is you got to hope everything gels in the last 25 games. Number one. And this is a team that their 2 stars can get injured at any point. That's another thing they're going to have to face. But
any team is held hostage by health.
Yeah, I'll tell you this.
Theirs is more in jeopardy.
If they're a 7 or 8 seed, which, because I think they'll be in the play-in for sure. I think they've done enough there. Utah's obviously going backwards.
Portland's not in the play-in yet.
Not currently.
So, I mean, there's no guarantee to the point I think they will too. And another play we didn't talk about who they ended up getting, Vanderbilt. That would have been another guy who, like you talk about Plumlee, I talk about Pirtle. Vanderbilt's another guy who would have been a good fit.
And Sam Amick was reporting, it sounds like the Kings were really, after him, and they felt kind of good about their chances before that 4-team trade was pulled off. I agree with you. I love Jared Vanderbilt's game. I thought he would have been a perfect fit with this Kings team. But when you look at those standings, to your point, the Lakers sitting just 2 games out of that 10 spot. They are then a game and 2.5 games out of the 9. And and like I said, the Jazz are sliding backwards. I think the Lakers, are better than the Blazers at this point.
Maybe if you combine those 2 teams, they're a playoff team.
They're a great team. You combine them. But, unfortunately, I looked it up. That is not in the NBA bylaws.
That court of Lillard and LeBron, I like it. Maybe not enough basketballs. I don't know who runs the point in that scenario.
No, I don't
maybe
either.
They figure that out.
They might. I think they got enough talent on the team. They would figure that out.
You can have the All-Star game in LA. Don't have to worry about Portland.
Oh, don't worry. We'll have another one of those here very soon. But I was just saying, the Lakers, looking at it, I don't think they're going to have a problem sneaking into the play. And I look at some of the teams that are in front of them. Again, the Jazz are falling backwards. I like the Thunder. I hope they get in. I think that team's scrappy. They're a fun watch.
They play hard.
The Warriors, it's just, to me, it's going to depend on how much longer Steph is out, whether or not they stay in playing contention. The Timberwolves, flip a coin. The Pelicans, now that Zion is missing more time after the All-Star break, that's another team that I would look to stay slipping. But the point I was going to make is the Lakers get into the play-in.
Okay.
And let's say they win the 7 or 8 seed.
Yep.
Are you trying to see them in round 1?
Well, and I've heard you ask that question. I hear you with Dave too. It's like you asked about the Mavs, right?
Yeah.
it comes down to who do you want to see? Because every team's pretty good. So if it's all relative, right? Would I rather see the Lakers than the Clippers? Yeah. Would I rather see the Lakers than the Suns? Yeah.
Sure, but we're looking. I don't think those teams are slipping. I'm saying if you're a team up top, a Nuggets, a Grizzlies, presumably a Clippers or Suns.
Sure.
And your first round opponent is Anthony Davis and LeBron James and that new look Lakers coming into town, as opposed to a Oklahoma City or a Minnesota.
If it's a 1-8 matchup in that scenario, the Lakers are the team you don't want to rise up to have to take on in the first round.
And that's
unless it is the Warriors or something
of
like
course.
that. Yeah.
And again, that's all, depending on health with them right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be really interesting. So 25 games left for the Kings. Again, we've talked a little bit about the buyout market. We'll see if they do anything there. But going forward, Scott, how confident do you feel in this team right now? Looking at the schedule, that they're going to definitely stay within that 3 to 6 spot.
I feel pretty confident about it. And I'll tell you why. It's, Henry, when we're doing game night, he always makes the case that whether the Kings have a great home record, we talk about that a lot. Is the home record good enough? We've kind of said it could be better considering how good the home court advantage should be. Golden One Center. The road record's been great, but it's about not letting go of the rope and losing 3 or 4 in a row. And it seems to me every time the Kings have been close to maybe letting go a little bit, they've always responded. I mean, latest case in point, the Dallas series, they get blown out on Friday night. They give up 45 in the first quarter. They come back with an inspired effort on Saturday. They correct a lot of the things they did wrong. This is a team that hasn't allowed itself to have major losing streaks. They've had 2 big winning streaks this year, 7-gamer and a 6-gamer. So I think they're going to be able to hold it.
And to accentuate their point, they've only had 2 streaks longer than 2 games. There's a 4 at the very beginning of the season.
Right. I almost discount that.
Yeah.
To start.
They were just kind of trying to figure things out. And quite frankly, I thought they should have had one of those 2 games. And then they had a 3-gamer earlier in the season as well. But since then, they'll lose a couple games. Yep. That's the nice thing. And that was the biggest difference, I think, over, the last couple years is we'd see the Kings get on a win streak.
Sure.
And then you see them lose
8-game lose streak.
Yeah. 9-game lose streak, lose 10 of 11.
Yes.
And the resiliency of this team, and I think that's just, you got guys that have been there before. Number one, the younger guys on this team are coming up into a state where, like a De'Aaron Fox, he's matured this year. He's not letting those, he can bounce back where it's like.
And the depth is way better too.
Way better.
If Monk's in a slump, Herter can pick him up, or Trey Lyles is coming off the bench, and vice versa, right? You're not relying on this guy has to have X points per game. Now, you are relying on Fox and Sabonis, of course, but every team's relying on their all-stars. I'm talking about the overall quality of depth, 1 through 8, 1 through 9.
No, and I agree with you, and I think that's the biggest thing is, for years it was just relying on De'Aaron without much of a supporting cast.
Yeah.
But now you have 2 all-stars that are getting it done pretty much on a night-in, night-out basis.
Absolutely.
Those guys really don't have too many off nights.
No.
And at that point, you have the supporting cast around you, to your point, where maybe one night it's Harrison Barnes struggling. Keegan Murray has the 30-point game like he had. Or it might be Keegan's really struggling, but Herter and Monk are picking up their scoring.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's something they've missed for years, is just guys that can pick up the slack when others are struggling.
Agreed. And I mean, Monk, Mike Brown came out 6th man of the year early in the year. I don't know if he's still in. I think he's still in consideration.
Sure.
I don't know if that campaign has risen since that point or not. But Trey Lyles has been great off the bench.
I've said this. I think that was such a steal getting him in that Marvin Bagley trade last year.
If you just traded Trey Lyles and Marvin Bagley person for person, you would make that trade now.
Of course.
Right?
I don't think Detroit would.
Despite it. No, absolutely not. And then Barnes maybe had his best month in his career in January. Keegan Murray was challenged to play some defense and rebound, and he stepped up with multiple.
The rebounds is the big thing for me with him. There was a lot of games there, especially early in the season. You'd see it 2 rebounds, 3 rebounds, and you're right. Coach Brown called him out publicly, which is something I really like about Coach Brown, is he will call out guys publicly, but it isn't shame.
No, there's no embarrassment factor.
No, but he'll let you know if you need to step up. And I thought, that was something Luke Walton really struggled with.
Yeah. And again, we haven't even talked about Terrence Davis.
I know. There's
how good he's been, right?
Yeah, no, Terrence Davis has been, I think Monty McNair has found so many nice little pieces to put around the hedges of this team. He's done a great job of that. And, we talk about Mike Brown, the job he's done. He'll be up for Coach of the Year. I got to imagine Monty McNair's got to be a top 3 Executive of the Year candidate.
I would hope so. He's worthy of it. I mean, right now, in my opinion, Mike Brown's the lead candidate for Coach of the Year.
I should be. I've always said that when you take a team that has not seen the playoffs in 16 years, and it's not like this team was close last year. I mean, the difference between this year and last year, it's night and day. And, it felt like there was a lot of people that were really lukewarm on Mike Brown. And I'm not just talking about fans. I mean, national media, local media. It seemed like everyone was kind of like, okay, this is a good hire. It really does feel like that Rick Adelman hire in 1998, where Adelman was coming off of a pretty poor stint in Golden State. He'd had success in Portland,
Sure.
but people weren't like excited about it.
No.
And look what happened.
And Rick Adelman wasn't a guy who necessarily exuded excitement.
No,
right?
not at
He's
all.
just a great coach, and the connection with Petrie, obviously,
Yes.
the two of them working together.
But I think Mike Brown has been better than advertised, and I've been thrilled with Mike Brown as head coach. All right, we got to take a quick break. Coming up, we still got a lot more All-Star talk, including what we're looking forward to seeing this All-Star weekend with the Sacramento Kings. We'll do that next right here on Sactown Sports.
The Kings have head into the All-Star break as the 3 seed in the West.
Nobody expected them to go this far.
Catch the Kings at All-Star Weekend with Keegan Murray in the Rising Stars game.
The rookie drives inside, then he scores.
Kevin Herter in the three-point contest.
Out to Herter. Scores, in other words.
And DeMontis Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox in the All-Star game.
Fox drives, gives the Sabonis hammer time.
Look for exclusive coverage all weekend on Sactown Sports social media platforms.
Switch to a great cell phone company that's been around for over 25 years without experiencing any difference in coverage and save money at the same time. With Consumer Cellular, you could save up to half on your wireless bill. Their award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer support team makes switching easy. Keep your phone, keep your number. No contract, no activation fee. Consumer Cellular offers unlimited talk and text, flexible data plans starting at just $20 a month, plus extra lines per family for just $15 a month per line. Get the exact same coverage as the major carriers to over 99% of the nation, backed by their 100% risk-free guarantee. It's easy. Join the millions who have switched and start saving today. Pick up your cell phone, dial pound 250, and say the keyword The Herd. For a limited time, $25 off your bill. That's pound 250, keyword The Herd. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto dial text message from Consumer Cellular.
It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop your truck headquarters right now for limited time event specials and top dollar for all trades. Visit FolsomLakeFord.com. That's FolsomLakeFord.com.
Why have over 2 million people trusted their bath remodels to Bathfitter? When a normal day is anything but normal, we fit your schedule with our unique tub-over-tub process installed in just a day with no demolition. When high quality is the only quality that matters, we fit your standards. We've been remodeling baths for over 35 years, and every bath we install comes with a lifetime warranty. Get the bath you want in a day with quality that lasts a lifetime. Bathfitter, it just fits. Visit bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
Hey guys, if you have Peyronie's disease, West Coast Men's Health can help. Acoustic wave therapy can dissolve the knot that's causing the problem. No pill or cream will ever do that. And right now, we're offering a free treatment just for coming in. If you suffer from Peyronie's or ED, call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Sacramento and San Mateo, call 916-829-8273. That's 916-829-8273. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual PI customer.
The other workers' comp insurance company, they were going to reclassify our business, and then they were going to charge me $50,000.
Meet Natalie, owner of the carpentry shop. Shocked by an unexpected bill, she knew it was time to switch her workers' comp provider. That's when she found Pi Insurance.
When we got the quote back from Pi, it was a sigh of relief. They put us in a policy where we fit.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
I'm grateful that there's a company out there that's willing to insure us little guys, because every dollar counts.
With Pi Insurance, you get pricing and coverage made for small businesses. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
It's the President's Day sale going on at Elk Grove Kia, and we have deals that are too good to advertise. Lots of dealers will say they'll stand behind their vehicles, but only one Kia dealer puts their money where their mouth is with an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all new Kias at no additional cost to you. And that's Elk Grove Kia. Talk about peace of mind. Nothing to worry about for 20 years or 200,000 miles guaranteed. Elk Grove Kia is also the best deals leader, like no dealer markup on the popular Kia Soul or the sporty Kia Forte. Best prices and best warranty in the land at Elk Grove Kia. Interested in the Kia EVs like the all-new Sportage Hybrid? We got them. The redesigned Sorento Hybrid? We got them. The most popular EV6? Yep, we got them. Don't worry about credit. Low credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Elk Grove Kia says you're approved. The time is now to get your new ride. Check us out online at elkgrovekia.com. It's all going on at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. The President's Day sale going on now at Elk Grove Kia.
Hey, Sacramento. The 2 days per week landscape watering schedule returns March 1st. Even-numbered addresses water on Wednesday and Sunday. Odd numbers water Tuesday and Saturday. Learn more at cityofsacramento.org/drought.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. This is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings have a big weekend ahead of them at the NBA All-Star in Salt Lake City, Utah. Tonight at 6 p.m., our friend Keegan Murray will be playing in the Rising Stars competition for Team Pau Gasol alongside fellow draft class members Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Benedict Mathurin. Tomorrow night at 5:30, we can watch Kevin Huerter take part in the three-point shooting contest at All-Star Saturday night. And on Sunday, we'll get Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. Will they be playing together? Will they be playing against each other? We'll find out on Sunday. They're the first pair of Sacramento Kings in the All-Star game since 2004. All 3 nights of All-Star events are available on TNT. Check your local listings and streaming services for more information. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Now let's return with JayMarZZ and Scott Marsh here on 1140.
Hope your Friday is going well. JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh filling in for Deuce and Mo today. They are off. Program reminder coming up at 2 o'clock today. The OGs, Whitey Gleason, Jerry Reynolds. That's going to be a fun show, Scott. I might actually have to tune into the YouTube for that one.
That'll be a great show.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That will be.
Again, coming up, if you missed our interview earlier with head coach Jim Less of the UC Davis Aggies, we'll be replaying that at 1:27. Jason Anderson from the Sacramento Bee. He'll be joining us live from Salt Lake City, Utah, currently out there covering the Kings in the All-Star weekend. So, first time the Kings had 4 or more participants in All-Star weekend since that fabled year, and I believe it was 2004. It's 18 years, a full-grown adult since the last time that the Kings had 4 starters. Scott, this is the first time I've been actually excited about All-Star weekend in some time.
Well, we're actually there for the full weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's cool. It's awesome, and obviously, I mean, this whole year has just been such a great, fun run. I mean, from lighting the beam to just being in third place right now to the All-Star game being filled with Kings players. I mean, you just couldn't have a better resurgence of this team than we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, and those of you who are joining us, obviously, tonight, 6 o'clock, I'm really looking forward to Keegan Murray and the Rising Stars game.
Yep.
You know, this is an event that's kind of been tweaked over the years several times. I really like this format they have now with the 4 different teams and kind of doing a little mini tournament.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking for Keegan to put a nice showing on there tonight.
I hope so. And he's having a great year. Where do you put him in terms of your rookie of the year?
Ooh, I have him at 2 right now.
Okay. Behind Paolo.
I have him right behind Paolo, and here's why. Obviously, you know, you can look at his numbers. They're good. But Keegan's also in a position where he cannot put up monster numbers strictly because he's playing with 2 other all-stars.
He's on a winning team.
And I think you have to factor that in. And, you know, so much when we talk about Rookie of the Year voting, it's such a statistical award because most of the guys that are in the running for it are on teams that are likely heading towards the lottery.
That's why they're the best rookies.
Exactly, because you're going to put up the numbers.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'll look at other teams where, you know, a lot of people are pointing to what Jaden Ivey's doing right now in Detroit. I'm like, well, there's not a whole lot of guys on that roster.
But he's playing well.
He is playing well. I'm not trying to take anything away from him.
Sure.
My bigger point was if Murray was on Detroit, for instance, I'm sure his numbers would be inflated a little bit more than they already are, is what I'm saying. So, no, I think Keegan is definitely, in my view, he is number 2. But to your point, Ivy, has been really good.
Sure. Mathurin's been good.
I thought Indiana.
Been a good rookie class.
Indiana really hit it out of the park with the rookies this year with Mathurin and Nemhard.
Yeah.
I thought they've done a really good job. But, yeah, no, it's a good rookie class.
It is.
And they're going to be playing against a good second-year class as well. So that'll be tonight at 6.
That'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to that. And then the fabled 3-point contest. As awesome it is to have Kevin Huerter in the contest, I cannot help but also look at it's in my eyes, and this is just me. Now I'm putting my Kings fan glasses on real quick.
Yep, put those glasses
on. It's Kevin Huerter versus Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton.
It's juicy.
It is. It's great. It's just, it's can it be any coincidental that the two guys that they I shouldn't say let go, traded to Indiana, and the guy they bring in, Kevin Huerter, who is essentially Buddy Hield's replacement as the starting two, are all three in the 3-point contest in one. That's a little sub narrative that I think is going to be fun to watch.
No doubt. It to me, the 3-point shooting contest is the premiere of that. It's the one I enjoy the most, and it will be fun seeing all of them. And of course, Buddy's won one, and it'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out.
Well, the thing about the 3-point contest that I love is it really is unpredictable, because really what it comes down to, who gets hot.
Sure.
That's all it is. And we've seen with a guy like Buddy Hield, right?
Yep.
Buddy could go hit, 24 points in the first round, and then in those finals,
it's the home run competition.
Yes. And 100%
Who gets
is
tired.
Yep. And, but I was looking at it, and, you watch years past, there are some guys that don't finish the rack. The one thing I'll say about Halliburton, as nice as his 3-point shot is, I don't know if this specific competition is tailored to him because of how long it takes him to get his shot off.
Possibly, but he's not a jump shooter. So I think, where was I reading this? That set shooters have a better chance of winning this?
Well, it's because, when you come down to like the seconds, not going.
It's a time
wise. It's a time thing.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is he likes to.
Takes a long time to let it go.
He takes a long time to let it go. It's not like Kevin Martin shooting from the hip, but it's also not like super far off. And then obviously the All-Star game, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox.
How much time do you think they'll get? Be interesting in the way we don't even know what team they're going to be on.
Right. Well, here's the interesting thing. Are they going to be on the same team? Would you rather them be on the same team or oppose each other?
It'd be fun to have a lot of opposite teams.
I think so too.
I think a lot of fans here would like to see them on the same team, right? Doing their thing.
Would you like to see De'Aaron and Tyrese on the same team or the opposite team?
Ooh, that'd be interesting, right?
I'd love Domas and Tyrese on the same team.
What if Domas, Tyrese, and De'Aaron, all three on the same team?
On the floor at the same time. That'd be interesting.
Like, this is fun.
That'd be fun, yeah.
This is fun. But, boy, it would be interesting to see, though, if – I hope we get Tyrese versus De'Aaron, and I hope those two go at each other a little bit. Those two have been so tied to the hip for the last couple years. I think it'd be great for them to, give each other a little one-on-one action. There's going to be plenty of spots in that game where other guys are going to have no problem taking a few plays off down the court. It is the NBA All-Star game. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. The one thing that is just not looking forward to, I think, and for the first time in years, it's kind of always tailored off a little bit. The dunk contest this year is just – do you even know who's in it? Could you tell me all four?
I couldn't tell you one name
really
in the dunk contest.
So
I had to.
You are not aware that 76ers two-way extravaganza, Mac McClung, is in the
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
contest.
Sorry. I meant to say Max.
How about the great Jericho Sims? Are we looking forward to Jericho Sims in the slam dunk contest?
For those who can't see, JayMarZZ has to look up who the other two are.
I am. I swear to God, I am. You know what's funny is we were kind of making fun of the fact that dude, it's Jericho Sims in the dunk contest. This is why I love Jason Ross. He's always just the most positive human being. He's like,
sure.
But guys, Jericho Sims could get up. And we're just kind of looking like, Jason, but no one's heard of him.
That's the problem. Nobody. You've got to have the name cachet on top of being a great dunker, right?
And that's what made the dunk contest so special in those years. It is special.
Of course.
We went back earlier, when it was Dominique and Jordan. Who can forget those two going at it in 88 from Chicago Stadium?
Forget Spud Webb.
Oh, yeah, Spud Webb in 86. And again, you had the big names in there. Yeah. Dominique's going up at it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the year Vince Carter won, what was so great is there was other big name players in there. Tracy McGrady. Larry Hughes was a name coming out of Philadelphia that a lot of people liked. I believe Steve Francis was in that dunk contest. There's a couple other. Jerry Stackhouse was an all-star. He was in that dunk contest. I did look up the other two. Trey Murphy from the Pelicans. I know who Trey Murphy is, but I'm not sure you're average NBA fan tuning into the telecast.
I think he dropped 28 on us the other night.
Well, you know what? Everyone has career highs against the Kings, so that doesn't count. And then finally, this one will be fun, and I hope he does something with his dad. Kenyon Martin Jr. of the Houston Rockets will be in there.
And he can get up, too.
He can get up.
And that's the most recognizable name of the four.
Right. And would you even say it's probably recognizable?
It's because of his dad.
Thank you. The judges, though, this is an interesting panel of judges. Lisa Leslie, of course, WNBA All-Star.
First one to
legend.
dunk in a WNBA game.
Jamal Crawford.
He works for Turner.
Also, never played in Utah. So if he was a Jazz legend, I could see that, but not known to be a dunker.
Part of the broadcast crew, that's why.
Dominique Wilkins, duh.
Of course.
Karl Malone. Okay.
There's been a lot of talk about Karl Malone being there also. That brings a different set of questions about Karl being invited. Yeah, it's fine.
I'll leave that to Google.
Sure, but he is a Jazz, obviously. Legend.
But here's a fun one that I did not know was judging. Harold Miner. The great Harold, USC.
Baby Michael
Baby Jordan.
Yes.
Do you remember back in the day that Miami offered Harold Miner for Mitch Richmond?
I do actually remember that. He was a good player. I mean, a lot of people did think he was Michael Jordan next generation.
When he was at USC, the way he got up, but I always thought, especially watching him in the dunk contest, though, he seemed more Dominique-esque in the contest, man, because he ripped that rim down.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the judges are actually more exciting than the participants themselves. But, we're excited here in Sacramento. It's going to be fun. Do you think any of the four, Keegan, Herder, Fox, Sabonis, walk home with some hardware? Who's the most likely? I'll give you that.
I think Herder's the most likely to win the three-point competition.
Could I say, and then I think, I agree with you, by the way. I think De'Aaron has a shot just because De'Aaron's game is tailored for the All-Star game.
I agree. I just wonder about playing time.
Right.
Because, again, starters versus reserves and just how much time De'Aaron and DeMontis are going to get. Certainly, DeMontis or De'Aaron are capable of winning the MVP, no doubt about it. But I just think, the three-point competition is so straightforward, right?
Yep.
There's no subjectivity to that whatsoever.
Yep. And Keegan Murray, just let it fly from three. That's going to be your way to get that Rising Game MVP. Yep. All right. We are having fun today on Sactown Sports. MLB is trying to make their game a little more fun.
Yes.
We got some big rule changes happening. We're
going to
go
with the base, the new base fit in our studio?
The new base, actually, I measured it. Just gets it. We're going to talk about those rule changes. Plus, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred had some things recently to say about the Oakland A's and where they'll be heading. We'll talk about that next on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports goes 100% live and local.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Tune into Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Followed by the return of Deuce and Mo.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Followed by Cattles and Rami from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You wanted more local? We're giving you more local on Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader.
It's go time. The President's Day Sell-a-thon is on at your California Ford dealer. With a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery, it's go time. Now during the President's Day Sell-a-thon, only get 1,000 trade assists cash on our lineup of Ford SUVs. Your choice. Ford Escape, Bronco Sport, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition SUV. We have the inventory, we have the deals, but they're not going to last. Get low APR and amazing deals across the Ford lineup. Take delivery now. Hurry in and go get a new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. It's go time. It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at your California Ford dealers. Don't wait. It all ends February 20th. It's go time. Oakland Trade Assist cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. Residency restrictions apply. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by February 20th, 2023. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross. At Dollar Shave Club, you can get a top shelf shave at a regular shelf price. We've been hawking shaving products for years online, and we're excited to bring you the same great quality and low prices at a store near you. From high-quality stainless steel blades to super smooth shave creams, Dollar Shave Club's in the business of making your shave easier. Find Dollar Shave Club in the men's razor aisle. Getting your Dollar Shave Club razor wherever you want. Isn't that great?
Need new tires? The experts at Tire Rack have been crushing it for over 40 years. Go to TireRack.com/Colin. Tell them what you drive. Try their easy-to-use tire decision guide. They'll show you the right tires for how, what, and where you drive. They've got the full line of Kumo tires, test results, tire ratings, and consumer reviews. Also, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection. That's TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course, I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge for a coupon and daily support? Sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to make your love life the best it can be. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 916-545-7577. That's 916-545-7577.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The wait is over. Folsom Lake Honda is loaded with new Hondas ready to sell now. Over 35 Civics, over 30 Accords, over 50 trucks and SUVs, Ridgelines, Pilot, CRVs, including hybrids, and low interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. See all our specials, apply for financing, and value your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
He's older, he's wiser, and he is back! Talking Money with Jeff Tarbell returns to Sactown Sports, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
Talking Money!
Rolling along on Sactown Sports, JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh filling in for Deuce and Mo today. 916-339-1140 is the text line. Telephone number if you want to get in, 1-800-920-1140. And our faithful following in YouTube, we always appreciate you guys. Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. You know, baseball is such a game that has been classified by its numbers, by kind of, you know, some people will say its refusal to make changes to adapt. But, you know, we're in a spot now where MLB's putting in some very interesting rule changes going into effect this season. You know, Scott, I'm an old school guy. I'm not big on 13-12 home run fests. I like pitching because, I think that makes the game move faster.
Yep.
I like manufacturing runs just because I think that's one of the beautiful parts of the game is, you know, getting a guy on first and being able to bring him around home. And some of these new rule changes, whether or not they're trying to get back to that part of the game remains to be seen. But they're very interesting. And I know you're a big baseball guy like myself. And just want to get your thoughts on some of these.
Well, I'm just old. I don't even know if it's old school, but like I love the old NL day with, you know, pitchers had to hit. And to your point,
double switches,
all those things. I thought it made the game more interesting. I'm always a person who's loved the 2-1 game more than a 10-8 game.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's just stylistic. In terms of some of the new rule changes that we're looking at, you know, I do like the fact that they're going to keep two infielders on each side of left and right.
You like the shift rule?
I did not like the shift. I like the shift back rule. So I like how it's coming back. I think it was just too much with having, you know, a third infielder in the outfield and all that stuff. So I'm good with that. I don't know how the pitch count's going to work. It worked pretty well in the minor leagues. I will say that for people who worked out at, where the River Cats play and all that stuff.
Southern
Park. Thank you. I always want to say Wrigley Field.
Same.
So
I have to catch myself every time.
But I heard that wasn't as big an issue. So I don't have a big problem with that.
What do you think of the pickoffs? This one to me is where I was like, dude, it's about to be stolen base central in Major League Baseball again.
And I kind of like that idea a little bit. Create a little excitement there, you know, because it does get boring when it's nothing but just throwing over the first base.
No, I understand that. That part wasn't it. But so to explain the rule to people, basically a pickoff is going to be now deemed, quote unquote, disengagement. So when a pitcher disengages more than 2 times, so on the third one, it's considered a balk. The runner gets to take another base. If I'm a runner and I have any sort of speed, right? Any sort of speed, I'm getting a nice fat lead and I'm making them throw over twice.
Yep.
Because you can no longer disengage a third time or else I get the base. I mean, I get it. I think it'll make things a lot more fun, but also, I mean, my God, we're going to see stolen bases explode here.
I don't think you will.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't think that's
You think
what will
teams are still
happen.
going to be too hesitant to run?
I do, and I just think, in today's day and age, there's only certain players who really want to run anyways because of issues with injuries, all those other types of things. So
that's sad.
Ricky
Henderson's on line 1 has nothing for your injuries.
So we'll see, but I don't think it will because the way the game's played right now, we'll see. I'm interested to see how that plays over too.
Yeah, and because again, I'm all for stolen bases.
Sure.
I think that has been a missing element in the game for a long time now.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the shift that I saw too is they're hoping this raises batting averages. I mean, I forgot what the number was last year, but it was extremely low.
Exactly.
But I look at the issue with batting averages not so much as the shift caused that. It's guys are just swinging for the fences, It's
Sure.
all about launch angle today. And hey, man, can I get a 3-run bomb as opposed to a 1 RBI single? And I just think that might be more of an issue than anything else. And so I'm interested.
I just think it looks so weird on the field to see the shift.
I do too, but I was brought up old school, man. If there's a hole, go oppo.
Of course.
Lay down a butt.
Nobody knows what opposite field is.
That's crazy to me. It's like one of the things we learned playing high school baseball. It's one of the first things they taught us.
Yep.
You got to learn how to go oppo or you're not getting any playing time.
Sure.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn, thank you. I mean, arguably one of the greatest hitters of all time lived. Wade Boggs, Pete Rose.
Rod Carew.
These guys made a living.
Yeah.
And we're showing our age as well, which is super fun.
I'm just from San Diego.
Kyle started it.
No, that's true. And I appreciate you, Kyle, knowing who Tony Gwynn is, being from San Diego.
Yes.
San Diego beat your Dodgers last year.
Shut up.
The rule
There's 2 of us here now, by
yes,
the way.
you are outnumbered, Kyle. The rule I do like that they're keeping is starting with a runner on second and
100%.
because there's nothing more I dislike than 16-inning regular season games.
I don't like 18-inning postseason games. I'll never forget the Dodgers-Red Sox World Series. You go,
but I'm okay with that. It's like the Stanley Cup.
Sure.
You go to a shootout, you do something in the regular season, postseason, you let it play to the final goal. Like I would not be in favor of a playoff baseball game starting with a runner on second base.
No, I would not either. I think for the regular season, it's perfect, especially when you get those double headers and you have the first game going to extras. That's brutal. Yep. So looking at these new rules again, I think it's going to be, I'll tell you what, I am going to be more engaged with the first couple months of baseball, probably because of these.
It will be
interesting
to see how it all shakes out.
To see how it all
if they're
shakes
enforced.
Out. And well, that's just it. How are the umpires going to enforce it? I would imagine the enforcement of it over the first couple months is going to be a
more severe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
but
very
they're trying to make a point, and then will they keep it up will be the issue.
Yeah. Well, speaking of making a point,
Yes.
Major League Baseball made it a point to let the city of Oakland know that they are tired of waiting on the A's and the city of Oakland to come to an agreement on a new stadium. Obviously, the A's have been flirting with Vegas. Here is Commissioner Manfred on what is currently happening with the A's and the Vegas-Oakland situation.
Is Fisher's preference to stay in Oakland? Is that a yes/no question?
I think Mr. Fisher wants to make the best deal to secure the future of the A's, whether it's in Oakland or Las Vegas. They need a new stadium. I think that's kind of beyond debate. If he had to rank them 1 and 2, you'd have to ask him that. I think he's focused on making a deal that will secure the future.
And just to clarify, you have spoken with the mayor.
But I have not spoken
You have
directly.
not?
No.
So no communication whatsoever with the new mayor? Do you
I have
plan
not.
to?
I took that as Rob Manfred said, yeah, I don't know. We just need to get something done. I'm washing my hands of the situation altogether. He is. It seems like he has completely put that in the A's hands and the cities of Las Vegas and Oakland.
Well, I kind of feel like he already knows what the answer is, and that's why he's answering the way he is.
Do you think the answer is Las Vegas?
I do. But we'll see. I don't know. I hope not because I love the Oakland A's and I want them to stay, but there's been nothing that's made me feel like they're going to stay.
Well, they've done the thing that makes me, if I had to find something, right, it's just the amount of money the A's have put into this project already in Oakland. We're talking millions upon millions of dollars. And I know John Fisher is a very rich billionaire man, so that might be pennies to him. I don't know how the man spends his money or what that really truly means.
And I think the team has made every effort.
I think so. I think they could have done better a few things, but I agree with you. This ultimately comes down to, it seems like the city of Oakland, whether it was the A's or the Raiders, just always drags their feet in engaging on these things, whether that was Libby Schaff when she was mayor. I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where it's like, I don't have confidence in Oakland, but Vegas at this point, when you talk about, we were talking about Sacramento being able to handle an MLB team or an NBA All-Star game. We've got the NFL there now. And, Mark Davis is already complaining about the influx of away fans that come in and invade there. You have the NHL, which by all, the
NHL's worked there.
The NHL's worked there perfectly. But you also have to remember you have big UFC and boxing still coming through there. All signs point to the NBA wants to be in Las Vegas, I would say, over the next 6 or 7 years.
NBA, that's where they'll go next for expansion, right? With Seattle.
And by the way, I believe the NBA will do fine in Las Vegas. I think they'll do great. Where does baseball and the A's fit in there to me, though, when it comes to just support? I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
And, when you got the NBA coming in, where are you going to – they got to do this all privately, right? If they're going to finance this in Vegas.
Seems like it, because they spent so much money on putting the Raider Stadium there. I mean, it's $750 million, right?
A lot of taxes on that, too.
But Vegas is the one place you can find the money to get stadiums done too, right?
Yeah.
So that's again the biggest reason.
But it just doesn't seem like you hear a lot out of the Vegas side, though, like they have a true appetite. I mean, I'm sure they're willing to entertain the idea of adding another professional sports team. And listen, if the deal's good for the city and John Fisher is willing to come in there and privately develop at least, the majority of it, I can't see them saying no, but that's just the only other thing I've got out of Vegas is it just doesn't seem like they have this huge appetite for it.
Yeah, and you might be right about that too. I just feel like they can get any sport done they want to, right?
Agreed. I mean, the money's there now at this point. They've already established that, look, we can support these major league franchises.
And I think just on the Oakland part, and I guess time will tell, it's just I haven't felt to this point that there's a feeling like this is just going to get done.
But would you say this? I think this is the year we find out, right?
I hope
this is finally the year we find out, is this team staying in Oakland? Will they have a new stadium built out there at Howard Terminal, or are the A's finally gone and Oakland with zero sports franchises?
It feels like the time is definitely ticking, right?
It is. It has to be this year to me. I don't think there's any time left. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back, we had a chance to speak with UC Davis men's basketball head coach Jim Les. Talked a little Aggies basketball. We also talked about his experiences when he was at All-Star Weekend. We're going to replay that interview next right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports has your exclusive coverage of the 2023 All-Star Game.
To me, Foxy and Domas are clear-cut All-Stars.
Fox knocks the ball away, grabbed by Sabonis, leads it out to the air, and here's his easiest 2 points of the night.
Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli and Kings Weekly host Chris Watkins will be providing exclusive content live from Salt Lake City.
Follow Sactown Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for all things Kings from All-Star Weekend.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. Consider STP Conventional High Mileage to save on motor oil for your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them.
The Jeep Wrangler 4xE. It's electrified.
Boogie, woogie, woogie.
So you can boogie woogie woogie up a mountain, over creeks, or boogie woogie woogie through a desert where you get bit by a pit viper. So you boogie woogie woogie back to camp and ask your friends if they'll suck the snake venom out. When they say no, you boogie woogie woogie to the nearest hospital for a dose of anti-venom and boogie woogie woogie your way to a full recovery. The electrified Jeep Wrangler 4xE. Learn more at Jeep.com. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Dell Technologies President's Day event is here with deals to power all your passions. The savings start now on select sleek XPS laptops and more, powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for these limited time President's Day deals. 877-ASK-DELL.
Hands up, hands up. Watch out for the screen. Okay, take 5. Hello, Sacramento and everyone out there in radio land, because I'm talking to you. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store. Sound like I'm in a good mood? You bet I am. It's been a long time to turn things around, so excuse me if I savor the moment a bit. Meanwhile, I want to tell you about another turnaround that's just waiting to happen. It's that awful foot and foot-related pain in your feet, knees, hips, and back, even dreaded plantar fasciitis. Let me guess, you've probably tried drugstore remedies and even seen someone for it. I know I did, but nothing's working. The pain's not about to stop. So you get bum and pretty much resign to live with it. Well, speaking from experience, I can tell you that arch supports from the Good Feet store can help. Good Feet arch supports for back pain? Absolutely. We think it's time you felt good again. So come to the Good Feet store and get a free fitting and test walk. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online, goodfeet.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The team at M&S Auto Group loves it when our repeat customers tell friends about their great car shopping experience with us. We appreciate that. And if you're a newcomer, welcome. M&S Auto Group has over 300 super clean cars, trucks, and SUVs, and lots of 4x4s and American muscle cars for those who work hard and play hard. El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto Group, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
At Ashton and Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The clock is ticking. Get off a bench and head down to Fasteners Tool Outlet, where you'll find the lowest prices on DeWalt power tools and so much more. Why pay more at a big box store? Get a triple-double at Fasteners Tool Outlet with weekly and monthly offers, including up to 50% off select hand tools, batteries, power tools, and fasteners. Whether you're looking for a Festool sander, a Saw's top table saw, or a DeWalt impact driver, Fasteners Tool Outlet has the tools you need to do the job. Make a slam dunk with Fasteners Tool Outlet, 6701 Power Red Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
With your Sactown Sports headlines, my name is Kyle Ledbetter. The Sacramento Kings have a big weekend ahead of them at NBA All-Star in Salt Lake City, Utah. Starting tonight at 6 p.m., Keegan Murray will be playing in the Rising Stars competition. He'll be playing for Team Pau Gasol alongside fellow draft class members Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Benedict Mathurin. Tomorrow night at 5:30, Kevin Herter will be taking part in the three-point shooting contest at All-Star Saturday night. Then on Sunday, we have De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, the first pair of Sacramento Kings teammates to play in the All-Star game since 2004. All three nights of All-Star events are on TNT. You can check your local listings and streaming services for more information. And stay tuned to Sactown Sports for all of our All-Star coverage with Frankie Cardicelli and Chris Watkins live in Salt Lake City. Those are your headlines now. Joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline, we have the head coach of the UC Davis Aggies, Jim Less.
He is the head coach of the UC Davis Aggies men's basketball program, former Sacramento King, former All-Star Weekend participant, and I've always said this, the reason the first basketball player I fell in love with basketball with, the year was 1991. It was a home game at Arco Arena. This man hit 5 3-pointers against the Utah Jazz, and I was hooked. Everybody wanted to be like Mike back then. I just wanted to be like Jim. Jim Les joining us. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. You're aging me. Don't throw out age anymore, and years.
He's aging himself, Coach. Jeez, Justin, my goodness.
Yes, no, I was a small boy at that time, and that game electrified me and really got my love for basketball going. So thank you, Coach.
Well, I appreciate that, and I apologize. I wasn't able to log in to the site, but I have a face for radio anyway.
Yeah, no worries, Coach. We appreciate your time. We know you have a busy weekend. It's obviously All-Star Weekend for the Kings. We're going to talk about the three-point contest in a little bit, but I do want to talk about your UC Davis Aggies team. Big weekend down at UC Irvine this week against the first-place team in the Big West Conference. I know you guys are getting ready for that game right now.
Yeah, good challenge for us. This is always a really good matchup, and it's evolved into a pretty good rivalry. And they're a good physical team. They're leading or tied for the lead in the Big West right now. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we're excited. We had a close game. I'm watching the film of our game here, and it's a tied ball game with 6 minutes to go, a 1-point game, and they kind of pulled away at the end. We made a little bit of a run and made it close, but so it always is an exciting opportunity. So looking forward to getting down to Orange County later this afternoon after practice.
Yeah, and the rivalry with UC Davis, UC Irvine, one of the best in the Big West Conference. You guys have both shared conference championships, going to the NC2A tournaments over the last several years. So always a good matchup there. Now, Jim, you need to tell us about your star guard, Eli Pepper, who is really one of the best players on the West Coast. He's averaging over 22 points a game, 11th in the nation, the highest scoring player in California right now, and a guy that really deserves a lot of attention and obviously has done a great job for your team this year.
Well, and you know Scott because you've seen him, but people would just love, first of all, his approach. This is a blue-collar, hard-working, spends time in the gym, extra time in the weight room, is just an extremely hard worker, loves the game, is a student of the game. And I just believe when your approach is like that, good things are happening. The game will reward you, and the game is not only rewarding him, but it's rewarding the Aggies because he's a handful to guard. He scores it from 3. He's got mid-range game. He's got floater game. He can get to the basket. He can get to the free throw line. He's a guy that creates not only for himself but for his teammates. And so just it's been a lot of fun for our staff to put him in positions to be successful, and he's rewarding us and making us look a lot smarter than we are.
UC Davis men's basketball head coach Jim Les joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach, you guys sitting 3 games back at UCSB in the Big West right now. The conference is wide open. The Aggies have been great at home this year, struggled a little bit on the road. What kind of adjustments are you looking to make down the line to kind of get more road wins going forward?
Well, I think for us, we're best when our defense travels. And there have been a couple of road games we forgot to pack it. With the variables on the road and, the numbers bear it out, you generally don't shoot it as well. You're not as efficient offensively. And defense gives you a chance on the road to stay in games, to be in games. And we just haven't been as solid defensively as we would like. And we've got to get that cleaned up here going down the stretch and then heading to Henderson, Nevada for the Big West tournament, because there's not a lot of separation between the teams. There's a lot of close games in this league, and it just takes one team being hot at the right time and doing it the right way. And for us, it's always been first about our defense, and then defense creates offense for us. And when we do that, we're a tough out and can play with anybody in this league.
Jim, it is All-Star Weekend as well. And obviously, we do have a Kings player in the three-point competition. I don't know, did Kevin Herter give you a call for some advice about how to participate in that three-point competition? Of course, you participated back in 1992, I want to say, during All-Star Weekend.
You know, he probably called a past champion, not a past runner-up. So,
hold on, Coach. I think Hodges had his foot on the line for one of those money balls, so that's still to be determined.
Well,
the 2-minute report came out.
Me missing the last money ball and losing by one is not that I still recall that, but you know, it's still a little bit of a bone of contention. But it was a, you know, somewhat of a surreal experience. Ours was in Orlando that year, and just wanted to get that opportunity to be in that mecca of NBA, you know, the showcase of that weekend. And you know, I think Magic Johnson was coming back to play in that All-Star game. So there was just an incredible buzz. So I remember Jody and I, and she was pregnant with Tyler at the time. It was just an exciting time for us to experience that. And, you know, a little bit of trivia is Drazen Petrovic was in that three-point shootout. And he was a guy that, and I didn't really know him, but we bumped into each other at one of the prep meetings, and he just said, "Hey, you know, I want to get some work in. I want to get some practice." So he and I actually took a taxi over to some little rinky-dink gym, you know, not far from the Orlando arena, just to get some shots up and to practice the day before the contest, because we were, you know, you're on edge. You're like, man, if this goes bad with all the eyes that are on it, it could be really bad. So we felt like a little extra prep time helped, and it certainly helped me. I know that.
Did you and Drazen maybe have a little friendly competition during that workout?
Well, it was kind of hard because we were chasing each other's balls, and we were trying to simulate the rack, and we didn't really have a rack, so we were kind of holding the ball for each other. So it was a little bit of a sight to behold. But I do remember, you know, the shoot off the rack is very different, and what I would say to Kevin is, you know, to position those racks, does he want to bring the ball up from his right side or from his left side? And different shooters have those nuances. And I also remember when I was doing it, as I played the music, they played that 3-point music during each of the shooters competition. And it just helped with the rhythm of getting used to the music, and you can kind of rhythm your shot and your fundamentals based on the music. And I thought that was helpful for me, at least to, you know, put the jitters behind and just focus on the task at hand.
So one thing I've always wondered about that, as head coach of the UC Davis Aggies, Jim Les joins us today right here. We're filling in for Deuce and Mo, JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh. Coach, who gave you that phone call? Who let you know that you were in the contest, and what was that like? Did you expect that was going to be a thing? Had anybody kind of prepped you like, hey, you know, you might be going to All-Star Weekend?
Well, I don't remember who did, but it's always the person who led the league in 3-point shooting the year before got an automatic invite. So having, you know, that year before had success from the 3-point line and led the league, then it put you in a position to get the automatic invite. So I kind of knew it was coming, but until it was official, you're never really quite sure. And you know, I wasn't necessarily a household name, so I could have been easily bypassed and nobody would have really known. But certainly glad they didn't bypass me, and it's one of those memories that I look back on very fondly.
Oh, yeah, you're much too humble. You won the 1991 shooting 3-point percentage title. Jim, you played for the Kings for a few years. You started your career in Utah underneath John Stockton, who you're very close to as well. Also played some time in Atlanta in the Clippers. But I know you're a Chicago Bulls fan, first and foremost, and today is Michael Jordan's 60th birthday. Just want you to weigh in. Is Michael the GOAT? Is he the greatest of all time?
Well, I'm biased, being a Chicago guy and growing up in that era, and then fortunately having the opportunity to play against him. And, you know, he was just extraordinary to me, and not only with his skill set and his athleticism, but the mentality that he had. And he's one of those old school guys. And, you know, the Last Dance put it in perspective of not only what he meant to the game, but just what made him so great and so special, and his competitive fire. And, you know, I also love the fact that, you know, he wasn't a guy that changed teams and chased a title. He was a guy that started, and the Bulls weren't very good when they got him, and that's why they got him. And he stayed there and through thick and thin, and put the city and the team on his shoulders to win championships. And if he doesn't play baseball, you can argue he probably has 8 because they were on such a tear, and he was in the prime of his life. He takes essentially 2 years off. So I'm a MJ is the GOAT. I have a lot of respect for LeBron and what he's done, but I'm a little biased being a Chicagoan.
That's head coach Jim Less of the UC Davis Aggies. Of course, you can catch your Aggies broadcast right here on Sactown Sports with the voice of the UC Davis Aggies, Scott Marsh. Scott, I know you guys got an important game tomorrow, correct?
Big game tomorrow in Irvine. Yep, 1 o'clock, 12:45 start right here. And we'll have it with the Coach Jim Less show. So we'll be talking again soon, Coach.
Our thanks to Coach Jim Less for spending some time with us today. Coming up next, Kevin Herter's on his way to All-Star Weekend. He sat down with Katie Christensen and Carmichael Dave this morning. We have audio of that and more coming up next right here on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
It was 1879 when the first President's Day was established, and it's been a holiday ever since. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'm guessing when the Keys family opened the first Naturewood Home Furnishing store in 1948, a President's Day sale was not top of the mind. But the family probably celebrated the holiday with a picnic and a big slice of cherry pie. The store name Naturewood was selected to reflect the quality of the wood furniture for sale. And that focus on quality continues today with brands like FlexSteel, Trailway, Stickley, Fusion Designs, Stanton, and many, many more. The Naturewood Home Furnishings President's Day sale is the perfect time for you to find the right accent piece for your living room, a new bed for your bedroom, or to completely refurnish your entire home. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's President's Day sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water reel.
Back on Sactown Sports, JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh sitting in today for Deuce and Mo. Before we go into Kevin Herter and his thoughts on the three-point contest, looking for caller number 9 right now. In honor of Kevin Herter, to go check out Jason Aldean September 21st at the Toyota Amphitheater. Caller number 9 right now, 1-800-920-1140. Check out Jason Aldean September 21st, Toyota Amphitheater. Big Jason Aldean guy, Scott Marsh?
I am, actually.
Really?
Well, he performed at Country in the Park many years ago on our country station.
So we'll say we broke him in the Sacramento market.
I think so.
And he has us to thank for all success. Again, 1-800-920-1140 in honor of our good friend Kevin Herter going to the three-point contest. Caller 9 if you want to see Jason Aldean September 21st at the Toyota Amphitheater. Speaking of Mr. Herter, he joined Carmichael Dave and Katie Christensen this morning. Here's his thoughts on the three-point shootout.
It's an adjustment, first of all, like taking the ball off a rack. It's not like it's the hardest thing to do in the world. It's just something that it's different. Like if you're smart, you should prepare for it just to catch your rhythm. And like anything else, the game is different when you're shooting in a gym by yourself and you're shooting catch and shoot jump shots from a coach, and then you get in the game. It's a different energy. It's a different dynamic. And kind of the same I'm expecting goes for this. Like I can sit here in a gym and I can shoot 100 shots in the gym, shooting the ball off a rack and shoot really well, but you never know how it's going to go until you're in the game, in this case, in the competition, doing it in person when the lights are on and everybody's watching. So,
Scott, we just had Coach Jim Less talking about how, that is a difficult thing and it's so different. That's why I was saying, I think, Tyrese Halliburton, it's going to be interesting to watch how he handles this. Again, he's more of a set shot guy, but he has that slow shot going there. Obviously, we've seen Buddy Hield do this before. We've seen Dame. Jason Tatum, I think, is an interesting guy.
Yes.
What the hell is Julius Randle doing in the three-point contest?
I don't understand that one either. I don't get it.
I was like, all right,
New York.
Anthony Simons. Well, that was kind of where I was going with that too. We can put a New York Knicks jersey out there.
The other part of it too is, it's like he's already in the All-Star game.
Right.
So why?
I looked around. I'm like, Keegan Murray's there. The kid's shooting down here 42%.
Put Jalen Brunson in there if you want to nick.
So many guys. And by the way, I think Jalen Brunson, if Giannis
should be named.
If Giannis and Embiid can't go, I think Jalen Brunson's in.
I would agree with you.
But speaking of that money ball rack, that's always one of the keys in the 3-point contest. Where will Kevin Huerter be putting that?
I'm not a great, or at least this year, I haven't been great out of the corners. So I'm doing the opposite wing from where I'm starting. That way, hopefully, by that point, I'll be warmed up. I was going to put it either the wings. I think it's too much pressure you put at the top. I think like the no-brainer, if you haven't shot, like I'll put it at the top of the court. But for me, I've been better this year shooting from the wings. So it'll be the second to last spot before the final rack.
That is interesting because I was looking at his shot chart the other day. He actually shoots better, though, I do believe, from the top of the 3-point. So interesting that he's taking the wing, but he is right. Of all things, you would think, the corner three, a lot of guys say that's the easiest one to make in the NBA. He's shooting, I think, almost less than 30% from that corner. So
that is surprising, right?
Yeah, no, it is. I've always been a fan of get rid of the corner three in the NBA. I think it would help the game out, but that's a completely different topic for a completely different day. But, Kevin spoke with Katie and he spoke with Dave for quite some time. He also had a lot to say about the Kings getting the number 3 seed and possibly breaking that playoff drought.
For us, we're trying to end the drought. Obviously, we're trying to get in the playoffs, get home court advantage, roll the ball out, and play from there. It's our urgency hasn't changed. I think our front office showed again their confidence in this group to end that drought and get it done. But you talked about it, we have great momentum and there's a great energy about our team and I think our fans in this city. But the job's not finished. We still got 20 plus games to go. We got a lot of really good teams to play. A lot of teams that are right in the hunt that are with us.
Yeah, and Scott, I'm looking over that last 25 games. Kings got some rough stretches there. They're going to have a home stretch towards the end of March with Boston, Phoenix.
It's
Utah,
murderer's row in
Minnesota. I mean,
yeah.
You really look at the remainder of the 25 games. Honestly, I think there's only, one, maybe 2 or 3 games where you're playing against non-potential playoff or play-in teams.
Right, and to your point on the home schedule, I think there's really only one, and it's the Spurs on April 2nd. That I would consider that's a game they're going to win.
Yeah, you look at the last 5 games for the Kings. That's going to be where they really have to grind their teeth. They're home against San Antonio on the 2nd. 2 days later, they're at New Orleans, followed by so it's back-to-back at New Orleans, at Dallas.
Yeah,
come home for a Friday game against the Warriors, and then. Of course, you get the Nuggets as your final game on a Sunday afternoon.
Now, the only thing could be, again, last game of the year.
They may clinch.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Who knows who's playing who? All those scenarios come into play.
But you have back-to-backs at Portland you're going to have to deal with.
It's a tough stretch. The Kings had their easy stretch, right?
Yeah.
On that road trip.
They did.
The 7-game road trip was 7 games on the road, but it was 7 winnable games.
Right. And then they have, it looks like coming back, they'll have a 3-game roadie with the Clippers and then 2 with the Thunder. That's going to be fairly soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll do a 4-gamer in the middle of March with Chicago, Brooklyn. That'll be a back-to-back, followed by Washington and Utah. Definitely some winnable games there. But then, they'll do, they'll have 4 and 5 towards that last 7 games of the year, back-to-back at Portland, and then they'll have the back-to-backs with New Orleans and Dallas. Everyone was asking, because I believe the Kings are either the only team or one of 2 teams that had a 7-game roadie, and it really pays to be a good team because when you play towards the lower rung of the NBA, you get brutal scheduling the next year, and the Kings have been a victim of this in the past, but this year, that is one thing we haven't talked about. All things considered with their record, and the fact that they're 2 games above 500 on the road, given how brutal some of that scheduling has been, it does really speak to how good this team has actually been.
No question. It's been fantastic. And again, we just keep coming back to the point, they've been so resilient. That's the word you used.
Yep.
I love that word because they just have not experienced any real tremendous lows. I mean, they've been able to not have the long losing streaks. They've come back when they've made mistakes. It's like everything they've done, they've just been able to keep holding on to the rope.
How much of that do you factor in with this coaching staff? Because I put a lot of onus on the fact that I think Mike Brown and that staff, and by the way, we speak a lot about Mike Brown, but I think he has a tremendous staff of coaches. Jay Triano has been a head coach in the NBA. Jordy Fernandez has been great. Obviously, we know Doug has been fantastic. Again, it's just a really good coaching staff there. How much of that do you put on coaching that's been able to kind of keep these guys cohesive and in the moment, so to speak?
I think it's all part of it, right? I mean, you saw when Jordy Fernandez took over in Toronto when Mike Brown got himself tossed purposely. I mean, it was like they'd won the 7th game of the championship. Right? They were so happy for Jordy Fernandez. That says a lot about how good the team chemistry has been, too. And we shouldn't underestimate how good this team chemistry is.
Right.
And we talk about these moves and why didn't they make moves and everything else. Well, the chemistry is so good. That is a big part of what's going on here.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of the idea. Listen, I wanted them to make some moves around the edges. Again, I've been saying that forever, but I never wanted to explore a trade this season, especially at the deadline, that would have broken up any of those core pieces that the Kings have. I really agree, and there was rumblings that Monty McNair wasn't going to do that, and I believed them because listen, he put this core together. I think he owed it to himself. I think he owed it to those players, and I think he owed it to all of us to see, hey, man, where can this core get us this season? I think they've earned that right. And you know what? I'm sure there'll be tweaks in the offseason. But at the end of the day, this core deserved to stay together and see what they can do. It's going to be an exciting last 25 games for the Sacramento Kings.
No question about that. The season's just getting good right now. As a Kings fan, you couldn't ask for any more, in all honesty.
Just getting started.
Nope, it really is. 25 more games left. The Kings currently sitting in the number 3 seed. But man, that Western Conference is tight. All right, speaking of the Kings, a guy that can always shed some light on what's going on. I love our next guest because he's not afraid to ask the hard questions. He doesn't care. He's out there. He's getting the answers. He does a great job covering this team for the Sacramento Bee. Jason Anderson, live, I do believe, from Salt Lake City, correct?
Yes, he is in Salt Lake City.
Jason is covering the Kings out there in Salt Lake. He joins us next right here on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Friday forecast looking mainly sunny out there. Temperatures will warm up this afternoon with highs peaking in the low to mid 60s with overnight lows in the mid 30s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Treat yourself to a new car in the new year. Shop Folsom Lake Kia for your favorite Kia model. Low interest rates, low payments, even zero down deals with approved credit. Over 20 years right here in Sacramento. That's Folsom Lake Kia.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Right now, get $2,500 off a new HVAC whole system installation. Now is the time to replace that system. $2,500 off a new HVAC whole home system. 0% financing payment plan options available. There's no reason to keep putting this off. Schedule today, 916-520-9990, and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hagen Oaks wants you to know about the exciting Ping G430 line of drivers. The Max is still the Max, as the 460cc model remains the most forgiving and fits most golfers. The LST with carbon fly wrap technology is best for faster swing speeds, and the SFT straight flight technology features an adjustable back weight. Ping has something for every player. Ask about the full line of Ping G430 woods and irons at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at HagenOaks.com.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that Auto Trader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with Auto Trader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home, or that I could shop by price on Auto Trader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. Auto Trader.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic. Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
At the end of your first year, Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope, Discover does it automatically. Serious though. See terms, check it out for yourself at Viper.com/match.
Hey guys, if you have Peyronie's disease, West Coast Men's Health can help. Acoustic wave therapy can dissolve the knot that's causing the problem. No pill or cream will ever do that. And right now, we're offering a free treatment just for coming in. If you suffer from Peyronie's or ED, call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Sacramento and San Mateo, call 916-829-8273. That's 916-829-8273. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pie customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pie Insurance.
We heard about Pie Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pie a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypie.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pie.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pie. Or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento, with your Sactown Sports headlines. My name is Kyle Ledbetter. The Sacramento Kings have a big weekend coming up, as all 4 Sacramento Kings will be at the All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City. We start with Keegan Murray tonight in the Rising Stars competition. He'll be playing for Team Pau Gasol, along with his rookie class members Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Benedict Matherin. In the three-point contest, we have Sacramento's Kevin Herter. That begins at 5:30 on Saturday on TNT. And finally, in the All-Star game, De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, the first pair of Sacramento Kings to play in the All-Star game since 2004. Coverage all weekend long will be here on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com, with Frankie Cardicelli and Chris Watkins being live in Salt Lake City for all the action. Those are your headlines. Now joining us from the Sacramento Bee, we have Jason Anderson.
Back at it, Sactown Sports 1140. No Deuce and Mo today.
Is Kyle becoming the new Scott Moak? I felt like we were doing player introductions there.
A little bit. It's like it's kind of a, I don't know. Scott Moak meets Rod Roddy, former Price's Right.
6'2".
I am a professional over here.
From the Bee, Jason Anderson. Round of applause, please.
Bring it in.
Jason, how is it out there in Salt Lake?
Oh, it's up to a lovely 38.
We have him up. Hold on.
Yep. Kyle, can you get him up?
See, you're over there focused on being the next Scott Moak, and no one can hear Mr. Anderson. Look at you. All right, let's try that again. Jason, how is Salt Lake?
It is it's a lovely 38 degrees now, guys.
Oh, chilly. That sounds like Sacramento in the morning, basically.
No kidding.
Jason.
You know what? 38 feels good compared to last night when I got in. So it actually 38 is really nice. It's
okay.
I guess you can't see it, but
no.
It is a beautiful day out there if you can get a little look at it. And it's a beautiful city. It really is. Salt Lake's nice.
It is.
Jason, you've been covering this team for a while now. Did you ever think we were going to finally get to the point where you would actually go down to an All-Star game and cover multiple Sacramento Kings players?
Well, my first year on the beat, I went to Charlotte, and there were 4 out there. But the difference was there were 3 in the Rising Stars game and 1 in the three-point contest.
Yeah.
They didn't have 2 on the big stage in the All-Star game. So this is definitely a step up from that. And really there's 5 if you count Keita in the
right.
So yeah, definitely a banner year for the Kings.
Jason, I know you're doing great coverage with the B there. We have our guys there as well. I'm wondering, what are you most excited to cover over the weekend? What are you looking most forward to?
Well, I mean, obviously the All-Star game will be fun to see Fox and Sabonis get out there with just the league's best and brightest stars. And personally, I'm also really looking forward to the 3-point contest.
Yes.
Just to have Kev in the 3-point contest and Buddy and Tyrese Halliburton there as well. In a little bit of a grudge match to settle all scores is going to be a lot of fun to see those guys go at it.
Jason Anderson from the Sacramento Bee joining us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. I want to go back to that for a minute because I'm sure Kevin's just kind of whatever about it. But I got to imagine Buddy Hield of all three of those guys probably really wants to bring this championship back home to Indiana one more time, especially with a Sacramento King involved in the contest.
Yeah, he might. Buddy. Buddy's got a certain energy to him, and I love the guy. I think he's a lot of fun to be around, but he hasn't taken well to, some of the post-trade stuff and getting booed when his return to Sacramento. So I'm sure he's looking forward to the opportunity to stick it to Sactown a little bit.
When we spoke earlier in the year, we had you on game night and we were talking about would Fox and Sabonis both make it, right? And you felt pretty confident at the time Sabonis would make it, Fox would be a challenge. And it turned out that was the case. And if it wasn't for injury, De'Aaron wouldn't be there. So, but it's great that they're both on the team. There's no doubt that De'Aaron deserved to be there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I thought all along he had a really good chance as an injury replacement, if not, being selected by the coaches. He's just like, it was funny. I pretty much as soon as I got into town last night, I ran into Dave DeFore from The Athletic, who does a great podcast and just a really sharp guy. And we sat down and talked for probably 20 minutes about the Kings. Everywhere I go, in the hotel lobby, everybody's like, oh, the Kings, my gosh, they're, what's it like covering them this year? So Dave and I talked for quite a while, and I showed him some numbers that I've kind of been working on. And I pulled some stats on De'Aaron. I'm really happy for him to be here. I do think he deserves it. And I think this is a big step in his career. But like the numbers I was showing Dave were, if you look at some of the advanced analytics, like De'Aaron has gone in value over replacement player. De'Aaron has gone from number 175 in the league to number 42.
Wow.
From 194 to number 37 in win shares. He's gone from 79 to 31 in offensive box plus minus. He's gone from 150 to 51 in defensive box plus minus. And in overall box plus minus, he's gone from 125 to number 54. And so when I showed Dave these numbers up on my screen here, he immediately went to the conversation of most improved player. He said, oh, you got to write that, if you got to write that story, he's probably a candidate for most improved player. And, and I don't know if he's the most improved player in the league. I think we all know he was pretty good to begin with. I mean, this is not his career high scoring average, but his percentages are up, obviously. And then you see some of these other metrics kind of come into play. And there might be a case when it's all said and done that he's definitely among the most improved players. And I think a lot of that has to do with the team success and winning more games and things like that. But De'Aaron's really impressed a lot of people around the league with his just the clutch stuff that we talk about all the time, the way he's taken over fourth quarters. Dave called him a killer, and which is kind of a word I've used, fourth quarter killer. He's just really become a fourth quarter Fox is something special right now, and it's been fun to watch.
Jason, Monty McNair and the Kings obviously stayed pat at the trade deadline. Looks like, though, there may be some potential buyout candidates. Now, we haven't talked about this team being in the buyout market for quite some time because of the playoff drought. Anybody that you kind of look at that's either on the market currently or rumored to be on the buyout market that you think would be a good fit here?
I can't say I have a real good grasp of that, and who, like, I see some of the guys that are out there, and I just don't know. Like, a lot of these guys haven't played in a long time. They've been just kind of on the shelf and in waiting. And I don't know. I can't say I've got my sights set on anybody in particular in the buyout market.
Where do you see the Kings right now? Obviously, everybody's talking about everybody else made a move. Sacramento didn't. Do you feel like they can hold on to where they're at in the top 3 seed, or do you feel like it's going to be tough in the remaining 25 games?
Three's going to be tough. I mean, we all know what their schedule looks like. They have the fourth most difficult schedule in the league over these last 25 games. It's the second most difficult schedule in the West. Fortunately, a lot of these teams, they're going to be playing each other. And so the Kings would really have to crater to fall out of the top six. They would really have to have a really rough finish. And I think that needs to be the goal. Like, stay up as high as you can, but try to stay in that top six, because things could get dicey if you get into that play-in range, especially if you end up with like a 9 or 10 spot where you've got to win 2 games. That's a toss-up at that point. So it's going to be tough. I do think there's a good chance they slide a little bit. We're going to see some teams come up a little bit. We're going to see Phoenix make a run. The Clippers, I think, are going to make a little bit of a charge. We'll see how it works with Dallas. Excuse me, guys. Golden State, I think, is going to come on. The Lakers, we'll see. Like, I expect them to be better, but like, there's just not a lot of time left for the Lakers in particular. So we'll see. Like, I don't think. I think 3. I'd be surprised to see them hold on to that spot. They've done well to maintain that as long as they have. But I think top 6 definitely should be the goal right now.
Jason, kind of looking at Mike Brown's rotations going forward, it definitely seems like we've settled on a top 7. I thought Kessler Edwards did really well in the limited minutes he got in Phoenix. Is that a guy you think they're going to try to work more into the rotation, or do you think he's kind of set, 7 or 8 going forward in these last 25 games?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to. Who's gonna sit in that case? I mean, are you gonna, because Kessler's minutes came at the expense of Keegan Murray the other night, and Keegan kind of went to the bench and didn't come back. Malik Monk was out that night. I'm not sure if he's going to really solidify a role for himself, but I do know Mike's looking for somebody who will stick his nose in there defensively and really be consistent at that end of the floor. And if Kessler can do that, maybe that means he keeps the rotation open a little bit more, where, maybe it's 8 or 9 or 10 guys rather than the 7 or 8. And in that case, maybe he defines a role for himself, but it's, there's not a lot of time left. And again, you'd be taking minutes away from somebody else who's really contributed to the success thus far. If you were to do something like that.
Jason, you brought up the great numbers about De'Aaron and possibilities for most improved player. What about Mike Brown? Is he the lead candidate in your mind for coach of the year? And of course, he was touting Malik Monk for 6th man of the year. What do you think about those 2 races at this current point?
Yeah, I don't know that. I think the Malik discussion is probably come and gone. For a while he was in it. Mike Brown certainly is in the coach of the year conversation. I don't know if I think the odds have Muscala as the favorite for it in Boston. And he's done a great job.
He has, but he was also with a team that was in the championship last year. Right. It's not fair, I guess, to hold that against him, but certainly if we're talking about from where they were to where they are.
Yeah, no, he definitely had a ready-made winning team like that he inherited. So in my mind, I have a hard time saying that Mike Brown's not the coach of the year right now, I personally. And he's just been phenomenal. A lot of my conversation last night with people, conversations was Mike Brown. And everywhere I go, Mike Brown's been so great for them. And the culture and the vibe. And we see all the memes and we've seen all the clips and turn on the Jets and, all these things that Mike's done just to generate this energy within this organization have been fantastic for them. And I definitely think he's going to be in the running. I would say there's a very good likelihood he's a finalist for coach of the year.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I have to ask you this one. Obviously, Summer League is a who's who of who's in the NBA. Multiply that, whatever the exponential number is for the All-Star game. You're seeing everybody back there. I'm wondering, who are you most looking forward to maybe running into over the weekend? Because you're going to see all the NBA royalty back there.
Oh gosh, I haven't even thought. Honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing Frankie and Chris.
Of all the people, Frankie Cardicelli is at the top of the list.
We have to cut that one and put that in.
I was going to say, we got to get Jason out more or something.
I always enjoy running into Buddy. Buddy's always fun. We have a kind of a fun like interpersonal thing where we tease each other and make fun of each other. So it'll be fun to see Buddy. I don't know. Like, I've had some really good conversations over the last couple of years with Jerry West. I don't know if he's going to be here or not, but I really admire him and enjoy like any conversations I have with him. So.
I just love that Frankie Carticelli's in the same sentence as Jerry West. That's pretty awesome, man.
Well, I usually put the two in the same sentence, but I'm glad someone else recognizes it.
I will now, forevermore.
That was not the same sentence.
You know, actually, when we were switching over to Sactown Sports, we were actually thinking of making Frankie the logo.
Yes, he should be the logo of Sactown Sports. Take that tower bridge off.
Yeah, I like that.
Jason, we're out of time. We know you're in Salt Lake. Where can everybody follow along with what you're doing out there at All-Star Weekend this weekend?
Well, always at sacb.com. We've got tons of Kings content there every day of the year. It's all we do. It's all I do. You can follow me on Twitter, Jay Anderson, SacB. All my stories get linked there. And so I hope everybody will do that.
Awesome. Jason, we appreciate it, man. Have fun out there with the legendary Frankie Carticelli.
Yes.
I hear he's a bit of a diva, though, so if you try to get a picture, you might get a,
Don't get your feelings too hurt.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you joining us. All right, Scott Marsh, we have one more segment left in the books. Hoping to get Whitey Gleason and Jerry Reynolds to join us for a little crosstalk coming up next right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports goes 100% live and local.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Tune into Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Followed by the return of Deuce and Mo.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Followed by Cattles and Rami from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You wanted more local? We're giving you more local on Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader.
It's been tough talking to my doctor about constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. I finally laid all my symptoms out there and how they keep coming back. She said I may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. We agreed it's time to try something different.
LinZess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. LinZess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give LinZess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take LinZess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking LinZess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Visit a doctor in person or online. Say yes to LinZess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by Avian Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Yeah. Add your job and the purple #hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidate worth interviewing. Did you know every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Wow. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/herd, linkedin.com/herd to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
The team at M&S Auto Group loves it when our repeat customers tell friends about their great car shopping experience with us. We appreciate that. And if you're a newcomer, welcome. M&S Auto Group has over 300 super clean cars, trucks, and SUVs, and lots of 4x4s and American muscle cars for those who work hard and play hard. El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto Group, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
Kansas. A night to remember. Kansas Live. With special guest Blue Oyster Cult. Saturday, April 1st, 7:30 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. All new and all incredible, the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. 277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop your truck headquarters right now for limited time events, specials, and top dollar for all trades. Visit FolsomLakeFord.com. That's FolsomLakeFord.com.
Back on Sactown Sports 1140, JayMarZZ, Scott Marsh. Scott, I have been informed by upper management that amateur hours are over.
What are we going to do then?
Well, I mean, you're getting the hell out of here. That's the first thing. But before we go, we do have to cover one more segment. Joining us, though, I'm looking forward to this. I told you I'm going to my desk and I'm getting YouTube up once we get off the air. The one and only Whitey Gleason in studio.
You. Yes.
And the legendary Jerry Reynolds joining us.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, keep it going. Keep it going.
We were going to say
down.
basketball royalty, but that's Frankie Carticelli's we learned from Jason Anderson in the B in the last segment.
If you guys didn't hear,
Jerry, go ahead.
Jason Anderson from the B was on, and our own Frankie Carticelli's out there at Salt Lake as well. And we had asked, Jason or Scott asked, who from like the NBA are you looking forward to? Because as you guys know, out at All-Star Weekend, the who's who of the league is out there, and he goes, I'm looking forward to seeing Frankie.
Sure.
Exactly. So Jerry West, he mentioned in the same sentence.
Yes, and then Jerry West. So Frankie and Jerry West are who Jason Anderson's looking forward to.
Qualify as blasphemy?
Yes.
I'm just, but what I.
Jerry West was one of your favorite players growing up, right?
He was one of my heroes, Jerry West and Oscar Robertson.
Do you see that Jerry West just said he declared who his favorite player was? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It's the guy who's having a birthday today. Jerry West says, my favorite player is Michael Jordan, who turned 60 today.
Well, yeah, but he couldn't have been his hero.
I know. He said favorite player.
I'm not saying that Jerry West is my all-time favorite player.
Okay.
Because that would be Larry Bird for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But as a kid growing up, he was older than me. Believe it or not, you may not believe it.
Oscar or Jerry? Because you go back and forth on that.
He was about 6 years older, Smarty.
Okay. All right.
And so anyway, he and Oscar, they were the untouchables, And
Smarty, is it going to get a little testy?
I know. I can't wait for
trying to be nice.
I may not make it for 4 hours here
today.
I don't even know what happened.
Let's get the octagon out here on this.
No kidding. I mean, it was kind of cool though, because I got to actually interview my first basketball hero today via Scott Marsh. I tell people all the time, when I was a kid, I went to my first Kings game. It was 91. They're playing Utah, and this guy named Jim Less hits 5 threes, which, as you guys know, that's an average in the NBA these days. But 5 threes in 1991 was unheard of.
Oh my goodness!
And so while all the other kids wanted to be like Mike, I wanted to be like Jim when I was 7 years old. So that was fun today.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, of course, I signed him, out of the G League at the time, and of course, he'd played with Utah for a while, and then later in us, and then
Atlanta
Clippers,
finished
right? With Atlanta, but just such a hard-working guy. One of those guys that got everything out of it there was. I always remember we had Steve Alford and Jim in camp, and he outplayed Alford. And Alford was really kind of an arrogant guy. I thought, I'm Steve Alford. You're keeping Jim Less.
How could you do that?
And I remember kind of pissed him off because I said, he played better than you. Duh.
Yeah. And went on to become an outstanding and accomplished coach as well, right?
Oh, he's a terrific coach.
Yeah.
And of course, Alford is too. But I really think Jim would be a potentially good NBA coach. I really believe that. I mean, he'd probably need a few years as an assistant. Of course, they don't have many assistants, so I don't know.
No.
Which one of the 12 assistants which one of the 12 assistant roles would he fill at this point?
Yeah, I was going to say, we find another road to stack him on.
We were going over the Kings coaching staff because we've given a lot of credit to Mike Brown, obviously, for the big turnaround this year. And we're like, you gotta look at the staff too. With Jay Triano, former head coach, has been, I think, outstanding. Doug, Jordy Fernandez. And then we looked, we're like, Yeah, I think there's 7 others that we're missing on this staff right now. So, no, it's definitely different. Gentlemen, you guys got 4 hours here on the.
Is that all?
Only 4.
We can only have 4?
Could only have 4. What's coming up on the show today?
Well, nap, probably.
Nice.
So other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just such a great time to have Jerry on with the Kings here. Obviously, we all know where they are. It's an historic time. Perhaps we're on the cusp of an historic time for the Kings. So a great opportunity to compare where the Kings are to where they've been. Is this a team that's built to last? I'm wondering also, is this a team that reminds Jerry at all of any past Kings team? So we've got a lot to dive into in addition to the All-Star weekend.
Yeah, though, first time the Kings have had 4 more All-Stars since 2004 participating. Jerry, I want to know your thoughts. Would you rather see DeMontis and De'Aaron on the same team or on a different team in this? Because you know how they draft the players.
Well, first of all, I just hate the way they do it. I think it's just so little league. You know, you might as well have shirts and skins or something. You know, but I mean,
he's not really excited about All-Star weekend.
No. If they could have the game on my cul-de-sac in front of my house, I wouldn't watch it. But I'm proud of those 2 guys because they've been terrific, very deserving, and I think overall, if that's the way they're going to do it, I'd like to see them play on the same team because I think Domas would know how to certainly help him get a few more shots.
I was telling Scott, I hope De'Aaron and Tyrese end up on opposite sides, and there's a little moment in the game where those 2 have a little maybe one-on-one action. I think that would be a fun storyline because, as we know in the All-Star game, guys have no problems taking plays off for a little bit to let some guys get their shine on.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be fun. Go ahead, Scott.
No, I was just going to say, Jerry, I'd like to get your perspective because you can go back past Michael. We've been talking, about the GOAT with the 60th birthday. Is MJ the greatest player?
Well, I think when you get to the greatest player, to me, when you look at the totality of a career, I think it's LeBron.
Yeah, there's no doubt the numbers are going to say LeBron.
I mean, like to me, at his best, he's the only player I've seen that would have been an all-star at all 5 positions at each year and could guard all 5. I mean, Magic could play all 5, but he couldn't guard all 5.
Yeah.
So, and Jordan, for a 3 or 4 year period, I'd put nobody ahead of him. But then he can't put, at some point, 20 years counts for something.
Yeah,
no doubt. And like I say, when you look at but I think there's quite several guys in a 4 or 5 year period were better than LeBron.
Who else would you put in that category besides?
Well, at their best, I'd put Bird there. I'd put Magic there at their very best. Kareem at his best. Certainly Chamberlain at his best. Yeah. I think, Kobe probably, so there's guys you could legitimately say, in the 3 or 4 year period of their very prime.
And then you got LeBron, though, doing what he's doing at age 38 or whatever.
Yeah.
Just unprecedented. I'm not a big LeBron guy, but I run out of things to, criticize.
The only thing, I guess the criticism I have, it just feels like, I hate to use the word wasted because they won a title in 2020. But it's just felt like these last few years with the Lakers and how that organization's been ran, it's kind of, put a little bit of a damper on it for me, at least.
Well, a little bit. I agree. Now, of course, I think some of it's on him, and I mean, I think that in my mind, I think he a little bit too ball dominant at this stage of his career. I mean, and it's not working.
Well, it felt like last year, if he wasn't putting up 50, they weren't winning, though, too.
Yeah, so. No, the team Now, sadly for me, because I'm not a real fan of the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know if anybody's told you.
You're going to fit in well with this group then.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in fact, I detest them. But I sadly, I think they've got a pretty good looking lineup now if they stay healthy. And I just think I just wake up in a cold sweat every now and thinking that they're going to end up slipping into play-in or play off or something. And I don't know if I can handle it at my age.
Well, it sounds like we got 4 hours of Kings talk and Lakers hate coming up, which works really well in this.
And not in that order necessarily.
No, not in that order necessarily. Scott, it's been fun with you for the last 4 hours. Yep. Whitey and Jerry join you next right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports has your exclusive coverage of the 2023 All-Star Game.
To me, Foxy and Domas are clear-cut all-stars.
Fox knocks the ball away, grabbed by Sabonis, leads it out to the air, and here's his easiest 2 points of the night.
Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli and Kings Weekly host Chris Watkins will be providing exclusive content live from Salt Lake City.
Follow Sactown Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for all things Kings from All-Star Weekend.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So, you've got an oil change coming up. Consider STP Conventional High Mileage to save on motor oil for your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them.
It's go time. The President's Day Sell-a-thon is on at your California Ford dealer. With a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery, it's go time. Now during the President's Day Sell-a-thon only, get 1,000 trade assists cash on our lineup of Ford SUVs. Your choice. Ford Escape, Bronco Sport, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition SUV. We have the inventory, we have the deals, but they're not going to last. Get low APR and amazing deals across the Ford lineup. Take delivery now. Hurry in and go get a new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. It's go time. It's the President's Day Sell-a-thon at your California Ford dealers. Don't wait.